I have a marijuana.
Shit.
Welcome to another episode of Roses Are Red podcast with your host, Mrs. Red Rose, her co-host, Sam I Am from the Married Couple Podcast, and AC from Midnight Media.
Skylar.
Yes.
That was loud.
Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome to another episode of Roses Are Red podcast. We are here tonight. One, we have a couple exciting news. We are launching off on Instagram tonight.
Woohoo.
And we also have a very, very special guest tonight that is going to introduce our next story that we're going to go into. But before that, we have initiation, Skylar. And that is we do a shot before we
that's
start
why
our
you
show.
brought that in here. Okay. I'm glad I didn't take one before the show then.
I only brought one shot glass, so
I got really sloppy.
do you want me to go grab real quick the Jose?
No, just do like a little baby shot.
I'll do. Okay, I'm gonna give Skylar a baby shot, and then I'll take a real one. I'll take
Baby
a big girl
shot's
shot.
Not allowed. So we're live on Instagram tonight. I don't see us.
There's a baby shot.
It says that we're on.
I can go get
over
the Jose.
here.
Does it say we're live?
No, it doesn't.
Or did you
Not
hit go
even-
live?
I hit go live, but it doesn't say anything on my side.
Okay, on Instagram, you need to hit go live.
Oh, there you go.
This is
It's a lot of things. It's way more things than I ever expected.
All
Like,
right.
all of the
So, guys, bear with us because this is a live, and
Yeah, this is what happens.
what happens?
Yeah.
No one even notice.
No one knows.
No
It's
one
fine.
knows.
So
No one's
anyway, folks who are listening, if you are, this is my bestie, Skylar. She and I share a love of true crime. 2 weeks ago, we literally sat in her living room making centerpieces for her wedding, watching true crime.
I
So,
know
it
those
was-
stupid baby screwdrivers.
fucking screwdrivers. They were bad.
I know.
So,
We did like
what-
the unsolved true crime, which is infuriating.
Yeah.
what made you want to pick this topic, Skylar? What, do you have a special affinity to it?
No, absolutely not. I just really like true crime. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but within that bubble, like we were like, man, we really got to talk about this. Why? Like, did you think this case is crazy? Like,
Yeah,
what-
it's absolutely insane. So we read this book for book club. I think it was our second one, and we got in. I mean, you get into this story just within a couple chapters, and you're like, "Holy crap! There's no way this actually happened." Like, it's so the amount of shit. Sorry, that
You can say
happens
shit. It's
is
okay.
like it's
Hey, where's that?
mind-boggling just how deep it goes and how fucked up it is that you're like,
yes.
how did y'all even get here?
How
we
did
get to this
all
point?
of this happen?
It's one of
Yeah.
those ones like even when we talked about when we first read it, it was like nobody could fathom. So it's so easy to get wrapped up and talk about it. So
Yeah.
we
We
What do
want
you-
to share with the world.
Mhm.
what interests you, Skylar, about true crime in general? What is it that draws you to this kind of topic? These topics in general.
I'm a serial killer.
That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, basically,
down.
I mean,
Yes.
but most of us are. Let's be honest. No, I don't know. I just something about just figuring out people's mindsets, I guess, and those kind
Yeah.
of just interesting.
Yeah, same. Yes, that's me too. Where's that line between like I'm thinking about it and I do it? But there's
Right.
that big gray area, right?
It's like how do you get from here to here? It's wild. So
I agree. I agree. Do we want to do this baby shot for you and then real shot for me? She's like, don't.
I
I'm
do
ready.
apologize. For some reason, I have no idea why it's not connecting. So I apologize for that.
We'll figure it out for next time. Not a big deal.
Yep. We'll figure it out for next time.
Yeah.
So I'm the only one that has to take a shot?
No, Rose
Yes.
is going to take
Oh,
a shot.
here we
The only
are.
one-
Here we are.
Rose has a
Me,
shot.
okay,
See, she's
good.
doing a baby shot
Mine's
too.
a baby shot.
Here we go. Ready?
Here.
Yes.
Cheers, everyone, and welcome to the show. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yep, still hate that.
I could have
Still-
gotten you the Jose.
Still terrible.
Mm.
This is smoother than I thought it was going to be, though. It's been a
It
while.
has a nice little.
Little zing.
Yeah.
Little thing. Oh,
That-
God.
It's called me falling on my face later.
Scott's going to introduce us to this book that we have read, If You Tell. And if you guys are going to check into this book, it's a good book. It is fairly easy to read if you're like me and Sam, we're dyslexia. So we both, it's a pretty good book, and you'll read it quickly.
Which is insane how quickly we read it. With as heavy as this story is, as you know, Rose. And it's a decent sized book, but it was a page turner. So anybody, there's really not much out there. Like there's a couple of episodes like on Snapped and other things, but not a whole documentary about this.
No, not how in depth.
No, but reading the book, you're like,
yeah. And just a quick disclaimer for anybody that just a disclaimer, this book it does go into a little bit of detail that if you are there's certain trigger points that might get for you. So just wanted to let you know, a big disclaimer on this book. It is, it is very graphic on certain things, and you could take the easier way out. You can go ahead and maybe YouTube it or something and listen to it there, but just to let everybody know, it's a little bit harsh.
It is very heavy, I would say.
Well, especially, if anyone's a parent out there, it's rough. It's a lot.
It is definitely a lot.
Well, we already figured out then whenever it's a trigger warning, it's because it's kids.
Yes.
Yeah. Anybody else, fuck them.
And no other things.
No.
Yeah.
Not just kids. That's the thing. That's not just kids here. So let's kind of get into it. This is the story of Shelley Notek. She we'll just kind of go into her early life. She was born on April 15th in 1954. She is now 70 years old. Michelle Shelley Notek never strayed too far from her hometown of Raymond, Washington. So this all takes place in Washington State. Not even after her 18-year-old prison stint years later took her further than 2 hours north of where she was born. So she was the oldest of three siblings, and Shelley and her brothers lived with their mentally ill alcoholic mother, Sharon, during their early years. Along with her propensity for alcohol, Sharon had gotten involved in a dangerous lifestyle with some family members believing that she may have even been a prostitute. So early life for Shelley Notek was very unstable. So when she was 6, her mother seemingly abandoned them. Rather than caring for her younger brothers, Shelley tormented them. The children went to live with their father, Les West Watson. Sorry, I should say that. That's my fucking last name. Words are fucking hard, folks.
Joe's birthday.
Yes, and she was born.
What? So wait a minute. Hold on. So she on Joe's birthday?
She's born on Joe's
Your fiance,
Yes.
and she has your last name.
Yeah, she's a Watson.
It's fine.
Her
Doing
main
good,
name
guys?
was Watson. I wonder why we like this story. No,
I mean, personal connections.
So she went to live with her dad, Les Watson, and his new wife, Laura Stallings. Watson, her dad, was very charismatic, successful business owner. Stallings was a stunning beauty representative of the 1950s America. So she was just, all American, wonderful housewife, really welcomed in his kids with open arms. Shelley hated her stepmom and frequently told her that she hated her. When Shelley was about 13, her mom died. Sharon died. And as Les described, Sharon was living with a man at the time, and they were homeless, drunks, living on Skid Row, and she was beaten to death. So Shelley's mom was beaten to death by said man that she was living with. Shelley never once asked about her mother, her stepmom recalled. Instead, she continued to torment her brothers, blaming them for missing homework or picking frequent fights. They didn't help. It didn't help that one brother couldn't control his impulses and lacked social skills. Her other brother, Chuck, never spoke for himself and let Shelley do all the talking. But it went beyond just childhood bickering. She used to chop up bits of glass and put them in the bottom of her brother's shoes. Her stepmom said, "What kind of person does that?" So early on in life, she was very much
a psycho.
Yes, she did that.
I'm missing a beat. Very much a psycho.
That's why we're besties. So in March of 1969, Shelley was 14. And she was showing what she was truly capable of. She came home one day she didn't come from school. It's really hard to speak. Sorry. Panicked. Her parents were, her stepmom and her dad they called the school, and they were told that Shelley was in a juvenile detention center. Their worst fears, however, did not come even close to reality. She was actually not in trouble, but she had accused her father of essaying her or raping her.
Which is crazy.
Yes. So they later discovered that she had a dog-eared copy of True Confessions in her room that with a bold headline on the front reading, "I was raped at 15 by my dad." They took her, they did all the kits and things that they needed to do and found that she had lied. So she went to a psychiatrist or psychologist, both on her own and with the family, but it proved unsuccessful. So this began Shelley jumping around between family members and others. So she moved in with her stepmom's grandparents. She eventually accused her grandfather of abuse. From there, she went off to college and met a boy. She met this boy, and they got married. And
that's the first. Yeah.
Right. So
that was a cliffhanger. That was the first. Yeah.
Well, she met this boy. It wasn't it that they moved, or she moved back, and then she wanted him to come.
Yeah. So he had like a good job or whatever, but it was too far. So he basically quit what he was doing.
Yes. Then her dad gave him a job.
Yeah.
Then they got pregnant with Nikki.
Yes.
The oldest daughter.
So they did the sex.
They did the sex.
but her dad was so eager to pawn her off because she was always asking for money and doing all of these things. So he was like, "Hey, yeah, marry that guy. You're good.
I'll give him a job in one of my businesses and take care of her, get her away from us."
Dad didn't
Stop being a hoe.
No, anyways, because he was afraid that she would accuse him of rape again or like tear down his business or whatever she was capable of. So he was happy to be rid of her with a husband that could take care of her instead.
So even in the first marriage, am I correct in this? She wasn't it that one that she, no, it wasn't that.
Mm-mm.
So her first marriage, he was like, she's fucking batshit crazy. I'm leaving. No, they had the baby and he was like, fuck this, I'm out. And he moved back. He was from Pennsylvania, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What made him say fuck this? Like what made him say like?
Well, she wanted him to basically be home, but also working and do like.
And she spent all of his money and was like take care of me, but
Take care of me, but be home, but like give me all your money, but don't pay the bills. Like, you know, like she's a
so
psycho.
shortly after he left her, she left Nikki with mom or stepmom. It was Nikki. that she
Nikki,
left.
yes, for a
She
little
left
bit.
Nikki with stepmom and her dad, and then found another boy.
It's customary. Hi, honey.
And ta-da!
Looks like a hot mess. That's my
Then
wife,
she comes
Skylar.
back with this other man, and they get married, and she has her second daughter, Sammy. And then she's like, "Oh, let me get this other baby back from you." Yeah,
Sammy. There's so many coincidences.
I know.
Bless.
Oh, God, I didn't even think about that.
I know.
That's a good old Sam Watson.
I know, right? Well, whatever her. I mean, I don't know. So then, with second husband, things get again. Dad gives him a job. He's like, I need
Everything
to
works out
support-
now, right? Like everything turns out fine.
It's
Yeah,
starting
It's
to.
a fairy tale
Okay.
ending.
But then they fight a lot, and she one day, because she feels like she's losing him, right?
Mhm.
And one day he comes home, and she was battered and as if she had been beaten up,
Yeah.
And-
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
and she was like, it was the plumber, I think it was what she said.
The plumber.
He tried to SA me, and he hit me with this pipe and whatever. You should go
Makes
get
sense.
him. She faked it all.
He is a plumber. I mean, he does.
No, she was trying to, she faked it all, trying to lure her husband, who was like, I don't really like this, back. So then they divorce. So things keep going, and she finds another guy. His name is David Notek.
Number three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third husband.
This is
Okay.
the third.
This is definitely going to work out now.
She's very desirable, though. Look at that.
I mean,
picture, right?
Look at that
it's
Punim, look at-
funny. In the book, they describe her as this bombshell, and I don't get it.
Well, that one she's
That
kind
one
of.
she
That one
looks
she's kind of
okay.
I
pretty.
think she's about to strangle his kids.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean,
there's.
she's about to chop her kids' heads off with her hands.
Do you remember those like 70, 80 movies where like the woman looks really? What's that movie where Carrie? Do you remember that movie Carrie?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
what she looks
Shit.
like.
Carrie at the prom.
Little pig
She
blood.
was-
Carrie was
Carrie.
thinner, but yeah, I get you.
There you go. There's Carrie.
But
There's
they-
Carrie with kids.
No.
You know how we talk about gingers on how they can either be really good looking or really not?
Yeah.
Mhm.
She kind of fits that really not in a lot of.
I can see how she has no soul either. So that's,
Yeah,
I
I
get it.
mean,
Dead
no,
eyes.
She definitely
Dead
has
eyes.
dead eyes. See,
Mhm.
it's not just us, AC. It's
Well,
in
for
the
me-
eyes.
let me tell you, for me, I can agree with that, because if that woman approaches me, I'd be like, no, thank you. I wouldn't be number 4. That's for
No.
sure. You
But
know what I mean?
not number 4.
Oh, well, God help the soul who finds her
Oh,
now.
my goodness. She's 70. She's in her prime now.
Oh, she's ready to fucking. Yeah, she gets juicy for sure.
Mhm.
Right?
So she finds another man, David Notek, and
No.
they marry, and he accepts these girls, Sammy
They're
and Nikki,
his.
as his. He really is initially such a good dude. They
Mhm.
love him. They call him dad. Sammy, she changed all of their last names to Notek, I
Mhm.
believe. She really didn't really ask for anything from their dads, even though Sammy's dad did try to be
Well,
a
she,
part
like-
of her life.
Was it Sammy or Nikki's dad, though? Like where she took off and didn't tell them.
That
I think
was
it was
Nikki's dad,
So
yeah.
like, he was looking for her, but he didn't know where they moved to.
And then Sammy's
Mhm.
dad wanted to be a part of her life, but she was like, nope, not gonna do that. So she marries David.
So, excuse me for a moment. There's only 2 children. She's only had 2 children.
So far.
That is-
So far. So Nikki was born in, I believe, 75 or no, 72.
I don't remember.
Something like that. They're older than us, but barely. I think Sammy's like 77. Or she was born in 77. So she meets David in, I think, 82. He goes, I love this family, I love these girls, I love this woman, she's amazing. Because and they get this home, and then they have they have Tori,
Yes.
which is the baby. And she was born in 89, I believe.
Mhm. Because yeah, we're about the same age.
You are.
Mhm.
So there's definitely an age difference. But where the abuse starts happening with the girls is fairly early on in even Nikki's life. Nikki remembers when she was very young,
Like
having a
pillow.
pillow over her face.
Just like 5 or 6.
Yeah. And she woke up and Shelly was over the top of her. Oh, I've got you. It was just a bad dream. But
What was
it
Shelley
wasn't.
doing? What was Shelley
She,
doing?
she was literally holding the
Shelly
pillow
put a
over her
pillow over her
face.
daughter's
Yeah.
face
Why?
While she was sleeping.
because she wanted to be her savior from this said bad dream.
Yes.
So this is where the abuse starts with Nikki. And Nikki, I have to say, did get the brunt of
She was
the abuse.
definitely the worst
Yes.
case.
But
Yeah.
of the 3 girls.
Mhm.
Yes. So very early on, Nikki she was like, I don't even know what would set my mom off. She would, one thing it would be fine one day, the next thing it would not be. And then, I mean, and she almost thought, when David came into the picture, things might get better.
Well, it was okay for a little bit when David first came into the picture.
Well,
It
that's
wasn't as
because Shelley
bad.
had to have the facade of
being
being a
the
good
perfect woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
She
It hasn't changed much.
does look like she
So
wants
that's what we have
to bring
Instagram
those
for now.
kids.
Mhm.
Yes.
We have Instagram so you can look like the perfect woman and wife, and
Mhm.
Yes, exactly. So going forward, Nikki did take a lot of the brunt. Shelley would make they would have a pee schedule. They couldn't go to the bathroom too much,
Or
or
shower
shower
permission.
without
Yeah.
permission.
What?
Yes.
She was like, if it's yellow, let it mellow. And if it's
No,
brown,
it
put
was
it
like
down.
they had to ask permission to go to the bathroom at all.
That
It was a
that
control
has
thing. It was-
permission. Yeah.
And if
It was
they
a good-
went without her permission, then they would be punished. Um,
Wow.
Shortly after Tori was born, well, throughout all of this,
Well, I say we
we-
skipped straight to Tori. Here.
yeah. Actually, prior to Shelley had said she had cancer.
I think
Yeah,
was
she got
that-
pregnant.
Was that after Tori?
No, she got pregnant. When she got pregnant with Tori, she had said the cancer's cured. I'm now pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
So
You're right.
She had cancer a lot.
Yeah, she pretended she was a lot like Dee Dee, Gypsy
Mhm.
Rose's mom, in that
But
respect.
on herself.
But on
yeah,
herself, I've got cancer. I don't know.
Feel bad for me.
Feel bad for me.
Yeah.
So within all of this, Shelley's brother had a son, and Shane.
Mhm.
And Shane's dad was in a biker gang and went to jail, and his mom was an addict.
Mhm.
So she was like, let's bring this boy in. And Nikki and Shane were close to the same age.
Yeah,
right?
they're
Like
about
a year apart.
within a year or
Yeah.
2 apart. Yeah.
So she brings Shane in, and both Nikki and Shane bear a lot of this abuse.
What was it that like they'd get in trouble and she'd make them take all their clothes off, go
Mhm.
out into the yard and wallow. It's like a mud pit, and they would have to like roll around the mud pit while they like sprayed them with cold hose water.
Yes.
And she would make them do it for hours. It wasn't like
It was
10
like all
minutes.
night.
It was like hours and hours and hours at a time.
Mhm.
And then they wouldn't even let them back inside. Initially, they'd go in and they'd have to like just sit out there in the freezing cold until they deemed it okay for them to come in. And that was a punishment. And they didn't know what they were being punished for, but they were being punished. That was the first thing that I read that I was like, what
the actual fuck?
F? And the kids just did it. They didn't argue. They just, okay.
Well, because they knew if they didn't,
it would be worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going forward or going throughout all of this, David Notek was actually quite manipulated and abused by Shelley as well. He
was gone so often.
Well, but she made him inflict her punishments on the children. So Shelley has this friend named Kathy, and because this is when she brings her in.
Mhm.
So right as she gets pregnant and Tori is born, she goes, hey, my friend Kathy lost her job. She was her hairdresser. And she's like, I'm just going to move her in. She's going to help me with the baby. It's going to be wonderful.
With the kids. Yeah.
She's going to, we're going to give her a new start. And boy, that was a bad mistake on Kathy's part. Kathy really just trusted her and was like, yeah, I want to help my friend. You know, she's, and all the girls loved Kathy. They thought she was wonderful. Initially.
Well, there was that birthday that Kathy got.
Oh yeah.
The
necklace for Sammy.
And she said that was her favorite gift. And then mom
got fucking mad. So Kathy bought Sammy a birthday gift, and it was a necklace, and her, you know, Shelley made a big deal about birthdays. It was a big show for everybody.
She always took the gifts back.
Yes. She would buy them these extravagant gifts and then take them back.
Take them all back after like a couple days later.
Can we go back to the mud pit for a second? So she put them
the wallow.
Please, let's do that.
She put her in a mud pit. Maybe you can explain that a little bit more. Like, so a cold, because mud gets super cold, and they put the kids to torture them in the mud.
She would literally tell them that they need to wallow, and so they would be forced to like get down on their hands and knees and like roll around in the mud while they sprayed them with the hose.
And all times of the year, whether it's summer,
winter.
Yeah.
And they live where?
In Washington State. I mean, it's never really warm there. It's never really warm there.
That was like the first real like abuse.
And the girls never brought that to the attention of the authorities?
No, they were so afraid.
They were afraid that they wouldn't be believed, and then it would be worse after.
Because obviously from birth, this woman was abusing them in their brains and, you know, cutting them down. And when Shelley would inflict these punishments, shortly thereafter, then she'd love bomb the kids.
Of course,
like,
it's the only way to do it again,
right?
Because, you know, if not, then it'd just be over. They'd probably tell then.
Any abusive relationship, right, between mother and child, or whatever, husband and wife, or whatever it is, but it's, you know, that's, you gotta pepper them with love.
She focused a lot on Shane and Nikki. They were Sammy, she I don't know, for some reason liked a little bit better than the others, and was not, and Sammy was like, well, they're taking it. I'm not getting it as much. That's Kathy, by the way.
This is Kathy?
Yeah, that's Kathy, the woman that moved into their home. But at one point, so she would inflict these, or so she would make like Nikki wallow in, and there was like sticks, and she'd get cuts, and then she'd say, oh, you need to clean up, and she'd put her in scalding water in a bathtub and make her, you know, take baths in these scalding water with all these cuts. At one point, she put her head through a window or a glass.
That was an accident.
It was not an accident.
That was not. That was.
You're overreacting.
It was like
You're overreacting. Come on.
It was an unofficial, like it happened, and then she was like, "Oh my God, she's
I fucked up
so
yeah.
bad."
Go down the stairs.
She should have gone to the hospital.
Yeah,
on that one.
We wallowed as kids, not like that.
I was just reading that. I was like, "Oh my God!"
But no, so
that
this
was
woman
not an accident.
Inflicted so much on these girls, on Shane. She would make.
She made them dance naked.
Yeah,
they were cousins, basically.
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
they were cousins.
That's different. This is now we're talking about.
But
sexual stuff.
She didn't make them touch parts necessarily. They just had to dance naked.
She also made Shane strip, and made him put icy hot on his privates.
On his privates.
Fuck.
Oh my gosh.
Kid from Goonies.
Hey, you guys.
Yeah, you know, she looks like she should do the truffle shuffle. So Kathy, she, this poor woman, she really just wanted to be Shelley's friend.
She was at first. When she first moved in, it wasn't like she was like the mother they always wanted.
Well, right. I mean, she was supposed to be Shelley's bestie. And The kids looked at her as if she was an aunt. They really did love her, but then also going
Tiger
forward,
Mom is the worst.
because Kathy starts to endure so much abuse, the kids were like, well, it's not us now. At least it's Kathy and not me.
We haven't even gotten into the tip of the iceberg for the Kathy
No.
Oh,
abuse.
shit.
We're setting it up there for you.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for I'm waiting for when we get to that one part. I want to see AC's face, which she made her do what she made her do with down.
Yeah,
I'm waiting to see AC's
There's
face on that
so
one.
much that she made that woman do that she did,
So,
So Kathy's
not
her hairdresser, right? So Kathy's her hairdresser
hairdresser and bestie.
and
Yes.
bestie.
Yeah, like
Obviously,
I'm
this
gonna make
woman
Sam
has
do this later.
problems to like. Oh yeah, okay.
I'll probably
So ooh, film it.
No, I'm
so please film it. So she is going to put this woman through psychological abuse. Is that what you're saying? Like once she moves in to like help her
and
with the
physical.
baby.
It's amazing.
Like you think the kids wallowing is bad?
I mean, she also made Kathy wallow. She started initially giving her. She would drug her. She drugged the kids as well.
Unknowingly, like put it
With
in
what?
there.
What kind of drugs?
Whatever down, like it was like
It was a
downers,
sedative,
yeah, to make them more like I don't know what the fuck's
compliant.
happening. Yeah.
So she started drugging. Kathy. She told Kathy she was too fat, and she put her on a diet.
I mean, she's a little
She
fat.
couldn't. I mean, she was, but she looked happy there. You know what I mean? But she was
She
like,
wasn't being wallowed yet. She's more
So-
wallowing.
she would after time went on and she started drugging her and things, she would then make her clean the house nude. Shelley had a thing with people being naked.
Yeah, well, it's because
Yeah, she's a sex
it would
freak.
humiliate them.
Yes,
she
it was
liked the humiliation tactic.
Humiliation
She's part of
fetish.
it. Yeah.
Humiliation. But she didn't like
Very
being humiliated,
sadistic.
right?
No,
But
she
didn't like.
she wasn't naked. It was she
No.
would just make them do things like, "Hey, you need
And
a
it
vacuum,
wasn't
but you can't wear clothes."
It wasn't
Yeah.
sexual either.
No.
There was no sexual abuse in that.
You sure?
There was no sexual abuse.
Yeah.
I mean, touching. I mean, I can still make you get naked and dance in front of me. That's kind of sexual abuse, right?
Well, in a way, but it wasn't.
Even in like the interviews with her later, like it didn't seem like it was like she sat there and got off on it. It was more that she got off on the fact that they were humiliated.
She had the power to do it.
So it didn't. Whether they were naked or not, it was just that humiliation is what drove her.
It kind of reminds me of like an internment camp where they were made to strip, just to strip everything, all of their dignity away.
Power.
It was the dignity that it was. It wasn't just.
But people got raped at that camp. I promise you, because of it.
Well, I'm
You know
sure,
what I
but I don't believe this is what I think she was trying to strip away their dignity and being like, this
story was told from actually the viewpoint of the kids,
of the girls.
So there was no sexual components, at least from their
point of view.
Their point of
Yeah,
view.
she didn't make Shane do anything to the girls.
Yeah, they weren't. It wasn't like kiddie porn. No,
it was. It was more of physical, like inflicting pain. I mean, she would,
I wanted to get down to the Beth part of it. The Beth, because Beth is an adult, so I wanted to make sure that component was not sexual at all. It was just a humiliation factor.
It was just
some forms of sex. A kink is also there's a humiliation kink, right? Where you can
but it
really get off on it sexually. So I wanted to make sure that everyone knew.
Yeah,
it really wasn't with even Kathy. I mean, so she said she was too fat, blah blah blah. She was initially there to help take care of Tori because Shelley had cancer at the time and she needed all the help she could get.
Oh God!
Wow,
I believe that's probably Tori there, but
why is there fire?
I don't fucking know.
Because she's evil.
Okay.
So with Kathy, let's see here.
Well, okay, so she moved in, she helped out, she did all of the things, and then like I said, slowly they started. What's happening?
I don't know.
Okay, slowly they started grooming her. Why
They did. How can I get awareness of the real life abuse and Brawley?
When Brawley being desperately attempt to pretending it's AI, it is potentially snuffering Palmer, Coven cashing in on it.
No idea.
let us know. Send us the information, and we'll investigate it.
Yeah.
Right.
Please do.
Because
Whatever you're talking
Yeah.
about, Rachel.
if he's not involved, he's being framed.
We like that. We like those rabbit holes.
Yeah, we like rabbit holes.
Yeah, we love rabbit holes.
Okay.
Scott's Museum. Okay.
Okay.
Scapegoat campaign for a corporate manslaughter, historic and corrupt ring.
We will look into it.
Yeah.
We need more names, a little bit more details.
Right.
Tell us who. And you know what? You can here, I'll put it in the chat here.
Yeah, but by all means, continue to DM. Continue
Yes.
to send
Yeah.
comments, please.
Please.
Don't ever stop. Don't ever stop.
So with Kathy, she moves her in. She starts little by little. It starts off very, very innocent. Where it's maybe you should lose some weight. Maybe we need to do this. Maybe whatever.
I'm gonna help you.
I'm gonna help you.
do those
I'm gonna help
things,
you get on your feet. And then it turns into you're now my slave. You now have to. You
Do
have
all
to
of the things.
do all of the things. You have to wallow. You have to clean my house in the nude. You have to sleep. You don't even have a real room. You have to sleep in the basement next to the
radiator.
The radiator, yeah. In the boiler room, pretty much, because they lived on this farm that was very secluded, where people couldn't see very much going in.
Mhm.
They did have neighbors across the street, but again, all throughout this, the kids are also being abused. Nikki and Sean were very close in the fact that they knew it wasn't right. They wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to happen to the younger kids. They saw what was happening to Kathy, and they were horrified. I mean, it was just one of those. What can you add?
Well, I was just thinking. I'm like, because they had moved a couple of times, so this is when they were the most
Yes.
secluded, and there was the time where Nikki and Sammy came home, or a parent called and said that they saw like someone naked
Oh yeah.
in the yard, or one of the kids said that they saw
Yeah.
someone naked on their property. And so Kathy invited over some of those mothers. And
Shelly did.
Shelly invited some of those mothers over because it was actually Kathy trying to escape at that time, and they saw her like running through the acreage or whatever it was to get away. So she like blew up or burned a part of her hot tub.
Yes.
And then called and invited these moms over to the house and was like, hey, like that was me. I'm so embarrassed, but like I got electrocuted
in my hot
tub. And so I was running away because of that. And she invited these people over to her house so they could see the burn in her hot tub. But really it was Kathy trying to get out of there. Which she had tried a few times to escape.
She did.
She never made it far, other than the one time at the mall.
Right. So there was a lot of abuse going on. And there was one time when she did get away, and she bought some new clothes and was like, I'm out. And Shelly went and found her.
But she like convinced her like, oh, it's going to be better.
Right.
Okay.
And anytime like the kids, Nikki and Shane tried to run away quite a bit as well, and they always found him like that. I mean, Shelly was on it. We're gonna go put out the search party. La da da da. So going forward, Kathy loses probably 100 pounds. She's emaciated.
That's good. That's a good thing.
No, not in a good way.
Unhealthy.
Oh.
She was there for like months.
Oh, yeah, she can put her like on a regiment, like on a weight loss.
No, it was like
regimen.
starving her essentially.
Right. She doesn't let her go to the bathroom when she wants to. It was her and the other guy too, right? Where they had to drink their urine.
Yeah. Well, she didn't make him drink his urine, I don't think.
What did she make Kathy though, right? Somebody had to drink their urine.
I thought it was the friend that came over.
The other friend. Okay.
I thought it was the other friend that came over. And
was it the guy?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Really quick, our friend of the show, our friend of the show here, Jay and Axis, says That's some Colleen Stan type torture, which means.
Yeah.
And I looked who Colleen Stan is, and we should probably do this story because it's called The Kidnapping of Colleen Stan, and it happens like Red Bluff, like California, in Temecula. So we should probably look into that.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
thank you for the suggestion there, Naxis.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. And I put it in the group chat, in the chat there for all of you guys that are watching us. There's an email there. You guys can email us any story you guys want us to feature. If you guys can't DM us, Roses Are Red podcast 007@gmail.com. Go ahead and email us your story, and we'll go ahead and do our research. And if you'd like to come up and do it with us, the story that you've requested, we'll be more than happy to do that.
Absolutely.
Or if you don't, we totally get it. We'll do it for you.
Yeah, we'll do it for you, one or the other, but we will do our best. So sorry.
That's me putting that in there, so you guys can kind of figure out what the
that's
Colleen
perfect.
Stan thing is. There you go. So
that's perfect.
Please
And almost
ladies.
in the same area of the country. I mean,
real.
this is in Washington and all.
Mhm.
So to go forward, there was
Sorry.
she was so drugged up, and there was times where Shelley had Shelley had deemed that she was that Kathy was being insubordinate, and she would tell David, her husband, when he was home, because he worked away.
He was gone, so he would be out and he'd come home for like a day or
he'd come home on the weekend.
Yeah.
And the girls loved when he came home because they did love David initially.
Why? What happened?
Yeah. So there were times when Kathy was insubordinate, and Shelley would tell David to kick her in the head with steel-toed boots, and they would kick the shit out of her. So Shelley,
and he was like, yes, dear.
Because he was also being abused by Shelley
because she's so beautiful that her sway and her panache.
For some reason, she had something about her.
She had something about
What
her.
is that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it's something at the beginning though. Like it was.
It's got to be good sex. She must suck a good dick.
She must suck the skin off a dick for this.
I mean,
are you kidding me? She must fucking peel it off like a banana.
She must
maybe
suck a golf ball through a garden
hose. Like she must have a golden pussy. It's got to be filled with.
I'm like, it's a magical vagina.
It has
to have. It's the taste of cream and berries.
Oh my God.
One would think.
What is it? Like,
how would that
happen? Funny way to
with
ask.
Something so fucking vile. Her brain was so vile. How does her pussy so great? I don't even know.
It's her glamour shot pictures. It's the way she posed for her pictures.
I mean, she. Okay.
I mean, think about it. Like, what? Seriously, for the boys out there, like, think about my position. Like, what woman would be able to manipulate you at that level, and what would it take?
But she didn't do it all at once. It's like a slow,
and that's how abuse
at
happens.
A time. So we're
I'll
forgive this, I'll forgive that, because it's tiny things at a time, and then all of a sudden you're so deep into it.
Sure. And then, but for me, I would give a little. Even if I was gullible, I'd still like. What's in it for me here?
What was that initial
hook?
This is it.
Yeah, what's the hook? What's the hook? It's got to be a hook.
It has to be
I feel like
she did at the beginning.
I feel like David was a Captain Save-A-Ho. You know what I mean?
He
wanted to be the white knight. Let me be here. Let me be the dad to these girls. Yeah. And then I have my own daughter with her. I mean, there's this baby that's my own, and I love, So so David inflicts all this harm on Kathy.
Is that David there?
Yes, that's him.
Wonderful.
But didn't she have like a control over him, right? She had a very control.
But that was my question, Rose. Like, why? How?
Well, the children even said that he had. Okay, the children. In my own terms, not what it says in the. He was a pussy.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Literally. Okay, so in our book club, Kate took
Thank you for saying it that way.
And one of her notes said, "Dave is a pussy." Like, that was the one note that she had.
Yeah.
On,
when we talked about this, yes, it was. Can we talk about how David was a pussy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was too scared to tell her because he didn't want to upset
her. But I mean, look at her. She would eat him.
That's maybe that's what he liked. He's like, I don't want to stop eating me. Like,
I would be scared too. I'd be
Yeah.
afraid she would whoop
She
my
probably
ass.
gave up the butt. I bet.
unless she was the kind of girl who's like, you know what?
Maybe
I
she
eat, I
did
eat
butt
ass.
stuff.
I eat ass,
That's
and I do all the shit that like
fun.
that nobody wants to do. You know, like I'm that girl that like I will
All
do
of-
everything disgusting
of-
that you want me to do.
It's
Mhm.
all of the butt stuff. Oh, she
All the butt
probably chewed off his chin.
She was a butt slut. She was a butt slut, and that's where her shit was. You know,
She could
It
have
looks like she could.
cave in
Cave
a
in a
look
li-
type. Oh, gosh. All right.
comment of the night.
Oh my gosh.
So, Jesus Christ! Yeah,
I
you know,
love
it's like,
how we can like take a serious subject and be like, yeah, it's fucking dumb.
Listen,
Let's make a
David,
joke.
what can I offer you? I'll suck your taint. Who's ever told you that before? Nobody. Lift up your balls. Let me get you a taint.
No one's gonna
Right.
willingly
Do that.
just offer that up for no reason. at all.
Right.
You will. And that's why Michelle got
She was
three marriages.
She's like, I know
I
how to work at this.
Fuck yeah!
Come on.
I know exactly what men want.
Come on. I mean, look at her. Wouldn't you be scared? I mean,
Look at
I was
David's teeth.
terrified.
In that picture, she's a little frightening.
She looks a little bit like Chucky to me.
Look at David's teeth. Look at David has little tiny dolphin teeth. You see that?
it's like what's that one where she's an author and she breaks the guy's it's a
Misery.
Stephen King.
Misery. Yes.
Doesn't she look like her?
Yes.
A little Kathy
Kathy
Bates kind of.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere, cutie.
And if you
Which
do,
is
watch
kind
what
of
happens.
she does to the
Oh.
adult humans that come into her
Well,
life.
and the adults get the worst of the abuse. Let's preface that. The kids, awful. But Kathy and is it Ronald later? But
Yeah, and the old guy that
'cause
they
there
can't
was,
prove.
But you know what? She didn't like it wasn't like where it was like it was evenly distributed. You know what I mean? Her abuse was evenly with everybody. Some of them got a little bit worse.
Not with Kathy versus the kids. Like
The
Kathy
kids were happy Kathy was there because
Because
they didn't get as much abuse.
for after Kathy was not there anymore. So like
They were
the time where
really upset
they
when
were
Kathy-
making her made her get naked and slide down the snowy hill
Yes.
over and over and over and over
they could
again.
see
And there was
blood
blood.
in the snow.
Like, she
and
never
this-
made the kids do
that.
shit like that. The Kathy
No,
got
but they were all abused at a
yes.
Yes.
equally. Like I mean, they're all abused. They weren't like
It
she
was
had
just-
a favorite where okay, this one's
Instead
the
of Sammy.
Sammy was her favorite, and she did not abuse her as much.
Sammy got to
And-
go out with her friends.
Yeah.
And like she's like,
Yet
well, her
Sammy
friends
was-
would like hang
yeah.
outside and be like, hey, my mom's not gonna let me go unless you guys like keep bothering. So they would just sit outside
And,
until
like, honk the
eventually
horn and
Kathy
be
would
like-
be or Shelly would be like, just go.
Yeah.
So they were all abused. Everyone was abused. But
Some
I do
of them
think
knew.
I think
Tori
more-
got the least of it, but still got some.
Well,
Sammy was the
Tori didn't get it until after the older girls were out of the house.
That is true.
though.
That's what
so
I'm saying.
that's a later.
We
All right,
digress.
Okay, so we have at this point of the story, we have Kathy, and she's being.
Oh no!
abused.
So where we
Kathy's
were with this
being
is it came to a head. Kathy had been she was a shell of a woman. She was barely she barely spoke. She was and honestly because of all the abuse with Shelly making David kick her with steel-toed boots,
Mhm.
her brain was swelling. They
So
think
then they waterboarded her.
they did waterboard her.
Mhm.
Um,
Within that same time frame.
yeah, they waterboarded her because when she left and came back.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like the second time she ran away. Or third
Yes.
Time. Yeah.
So anytime she ran away, they would go find her, and then
So Kathy would
they
run away.
Yes,
A couple of times.
Yeah,
but
she
it-
was
A
trying
grown
to-
woman, let's put this together. A grown woman would escape from another person who doesn't have any bearing on her. She would escape from her house and then come back.
well, no. She wouldn't willingly come back. They would go
Okay.
hunt her
They would
down.
go find her.
They would
Who is
put a
they? Her and
certain-
David?
Her and David and the kids.
And the
They would
kids.
make the kids go out and hunt her down too.
Lord
It
have
was the
mercy.
same thing when Shane would run away. Like they would just go and find them.
Yes.
Now, is this
Um,
her first? No, was this her second husband before she kind of went off more of
This
the
was her
rockers?
Third
This is
husband.
third.
Or was
This is
this the
husband
third?
now.
This is the third husband. So this is the one
Mhm.
where what she did with the kids, right? And
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Mhm.
that
Their
group
house,
Where
apparently.
part.
he participated.
Of quite often.
Yeah.
She made him. I mean, he
you
would drink a lot.
You can't physically make someone participate. It was
Correct.
just, hey, you just got home and these kids have been awful this whole time. Go
It's your
and
fault.
Go
inflict
be the
pain.
dad. Yeah. But she would also do it with Kathy and all. So
It's a small little house. It's very clean though.
that's because
You
Kathy
have 4
cleaned it in the
slaves.
nude.
Kathy
You have
was
4
cleaning
slaves.
it.
I mean, look, they even have a jacuzzi. No, what is that? A jacuzzi?
Yeah, that was where, remember when she said she got electrocuted and that was
When
her
Kathy
running
was out
through
there,
the
yeah.
yard
Oh,
naked.
that's right. Yeah.
Mhm.
I kind of was picturing that in the backyard. You know, when you open your backyard
Well, you
door.
don't picture
That's
this house. I don't even know that I've seen that.
I didn't
That's-
picture that in my head either, but now that I see
Yeah.
it, it makes sense. I can see where things would have happened.
Yeah.
Off to the side there, I would assume is where they wallowed.
In the mud pits.
Well, but there was like outhouses and stuff because they
Outbuildings, yes.
outbuildings. They locked Kathy in one, and
Yeah.
then Shane tried to let her go, but she thought it was a trick because she also used Shane to abuse Kathy.
Yes.
She'd be like, "You have to beat her or kick her or do whatever,
Yes.
or you're gonna go in the house." And so he would beat her. So when Shane tried to let her leave,
yes,
she
one
was
of the
like, nope.
one of the big things is Shelley was very good at Shelley had a spending problem. She would spend money on shit they didn't need. She would spend money on just frivolous things. She would sit most days in front of the TV watching soap operas, and she even opened accounts in her kids' names using their social security numbers. Yes.
Hell yeah.
So they were so much in debt, and David, her husband, was working. He was literally away for work, and his checks would come directly to Shelley.
Yeah, of
And
course.
the minute they got there, they were spent. The kids had no idea. I mean, it was just tchotchkes and
No.
shit.
Did Jay
No,
want
they
to know if they had any dogs or
They
pets?
didn't have any pets.
No pets.
But can you
Okay.
imagine if they
well,
did?
no, remember the
Right.
dogs, they had puppies,
They-
remember?
for
Because
temporarily
Nikki did get
yeah.
remember
Oh,
Nikki
but
got
that
in
was in the
trouble.
beginning. That was
Yeah,
in the
that
very, very
that
beginning.
was very early on.
Yeah,
So
but Nikki got in
was
trouble
not-
and was confined to her room or her
Mhm.
closet. And Sammy, like, sneakily, when her mom was away, like, put the puppies up on
in a
a pulley system,
up to the
so
roof,
she could see
yeah.
them, and it was her only solace of she
Mhm.
would make the kids pee in a bucket when she would keep them in their room.
Yeah.
It just
But they didn't have any true pets.
no, they
no.
didn't. So with Kathy, let's kind of get to that because this is a long ass fucking story and we're almost a
keep
whole
going.
ass hour in and we've got more to
Well,
go.
we need to probably just get to the end of Kathy.
That's what I'm
Okay.
saying.
Okay.
To get to the end of Kathy had been kicked in the head. She was made to sleep by she was in a back room at this point. She was unresponsive. She was barely speaking. She could not put sentences together
She really
because of
couldn't
all the brain
move,
trauma.
yeah.
One day Shelley was gone and Shelley was
They were
gone and
making
David
her-
was there.
Yeah.
And she starts
Seizing.
she
Didn't she have a
had
seizure?
seizures
Mhm.
because of all the brain trauma caused by all the
Was
abuse.
that the one? Was that the one? Okay. Did we get to the part where I said I wanted to see AC's reaction where so what she did to these children too was not only she would pour bleach on them, right?
on their wounds
Mhm.
when
on their
clean them.
wounds. Like
Oh.
if they had a
Cleaned
cut,
them. Mhm.
she would put bleach on them. She made them cut their
well
They're-
no we're not there yet.
Oh,
that's
we're not there?
later.
Okay.
That's Tori.
Okay.
That's Tori.
that's
Yeah.
okay. That's Tori. Okay.
So with Kathy at this point she was seizing and she puked.
Good.
She threw up
Mhm.
and
Shane was in there for that.
yeah,
part.
Shane was in there for that part as well. He witnessed along
Okay.
with David, and David tried to pull the throw up out of her mouth, but she died of asphyxiation. So what do? They don't report it. David is meant to, or was told by Shelley And Shelley told the whole family, if we report this,
We're all going
to jail,
Mm-hmm.
even the kids. And so Shelley said, you need to fix this. You need to get rid of it. They proceed to
They burn
burn
it, right?
Kathy's body. Kathy's family was questioning where she was, and Shelley told them that she found a new beau, and she moved. It was a trucker, and she moved to California with him.
They sent the kids away to spend the night at someone else's house.
They did. You're
Did
right.
they go to the house? Did they stay at a hotel or something?
They did. Shelley and the kids went to a hotel while David burned the body.
Yeah, she sent the kids away so the kids wouldn't know what was going on. At least she thought the kids wouldn't know.
But Shane was there when it was happening, so he took pictures.
He did.
But before that, wasn't that before? Okay, so before that, didn't she have like her friend come or a best or
not yet.
Gentleman? Not yet. Okay,
not yet.
That was after this.
And so Kathy specifically, like, it's actually ruled that she died of an asphyxiation on her own vomit, right?
Yes. Right. Due to
because of
all of the brain damage that she had from the being kicked in the head from a steel-toed boot. They did nothing. They didn't even report it because they didn't want them to see her emaciated body. They didn't want the police to see that she was being abused and she had bruises and cuts and all these things. So Shelley took all the kids and said, we're going to a hotel, and David burned the body. This is
and David was
number
like,
1.
Hoy, hoy, I'll do whatever you want because I'm David.
Yes.
Yep. I've got you, or you've got me. I'm gonna do anything that you said. So David said that he said, I know I should have called 911, but with everything that had been going on, I didn't want the cops there. I didn't want Shell in trouble or the kids to go through that trauma. I didn't want this to ruin their lives or our family. I just freaked out, and I really did. I didn't know what to do. This is after Shell or Kathy.
After everything came out. Yeah.
Yeah. So once they were caught, this is what David said about Kathy dying. So he just went along with it because she told him to.
Of course he did. I mean, you expect nothing less.
Shane and Nikki, again, very close, had both talked about running away together. Shane at one point, because he did take the pictures, told Nikki, hey, I have these pictures. We're gonna run away. We're gonna go to the cops.
Yep. But he saved he's like, I'm gonna stick them here.
And he had some effects of Kathy's that he hid, right? So he could prove
his evidence
what had happened.
I don't think they ever actually found.
No, I don't think so either.
No.
Well, here's why they didn't. So because of this, Nikki gets nervous because she's been abused her whole fucking life, and she goes, because the girls throughout this book go, anytime we did something wrong, Mom always knew. Mom had a superpower. She had a superpower, blah, blah, blah. And so Nikki got scared and told Shelley, hey, Shane has these pictures, la da da da. He's gonna, try to whatever.
She ratted him out.
She did. And I understand why she did. I think she was scared. I think she thought Shelley would know, and they'd both die, to be fair. But because she told Shelley then told David, you have to kill Shane.
Which he did.
Which he did. He shot him.
Oh my God.
Yep.
She made him.
And they
they
burned him too.
They didn't tell the kids though. They told the kids that he was in Alaska.
He got a job on a fishing boat.
He's fishing and enjoying his life. But what was weird was when he first ran away, they weren't looking for him.
No, yeah. Anytime anybody would run away,
they looked for him incessantly. Yeah. Yet they stopped looking after a couple of hours.
They didn't even try because they knew he was dead.
The guy cucked himself
On all,
Yes,
yeah, he's just a
David
bad-
was a cuck. Yes.
Yeah.
hard, man. He was like, I'll do whatever you say. You want to fuck a guy in front of me? No problem. I'll hold his nuts while you know, like, what is
Yeah.
this?
Oh,
I wouldn't have
peeing.
loved that, but like, I would wonder if it did turn sexual, like what the depths of what David would have done. Like, it's like, stand right there, hold his nuts up while I like him. Like, are you just gonna do anything I say? You know what I mean? Like, good point there, Jay.
One doesn't know. One would surmise that he would have done anything that Shelley told him.
Maybe. At one point, it's like,
Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
that's not. I'm not gonna lick that guy's asshole.
I don't think he had that in him. I think he was so beaten down that
At this stage,
he was so beaten down by Shelley. And also now she has another thing over him. Now 2 people have died, one by his hands, and he covered all of it up for her. So when Kathy,
What are you asking?
well, when she made didn't she make Nikki go over to the neighbors and listen?
Well, she made both Shane and Nikki go over. She was so paranoid that someone knew about Kathy died. So they were like crawling into the crawl spaces of the neighbor's home, listening to see if they knew
she
anything.
made her kids, her kid and her nephew, who she claimed was like her own, go and spy on the neighbors to see
if they knew anything.
Mm-hmm.
Which they didn't.
No, none of them knew.
Nobody did.
No.
Nobody knew.
And
everyone's idiots.
And I think before we go into the next segment of the story, because we're already an hour in, I think it's time for a shot.
Oh shit. Okay. You want to do a shot?
No.
Okay, I'll do a shot.
No.
I might have to pee too.
My 7-year-old's in the living room hanging out in there.
Well, he's got Joe and
eating a body-sized bag of popcorn.
Yes.
We went to the liquor store and there's not a lot of snacks there, but apparently there is human-sized bags of popcorn.
Or at
and
least
he was like, "Oh my gosh, Mom, we need that." And I'm like, "Why? Who needs that? He needs that.
I need that. I need that right about now.
It's literally movie theater popcorn. So don't get me wrong. I stole the bag from him a few times, and I was
I'm gonna
shoveling
go grab
it
a handful.
Yeah, it's
in
so
just a
good.
second.
It's really good.
I need that.
recommend it.
All right.
All right. Cheers, everyone.
You can just take your wine.
Cheers.
I was trying to refill under the table because it sounded like I was peeing.
That would have been cool. You
might really pick everything up, and I'm like, sounds like I'm peeing, so I like stuck it under there.
I shall return. I am gonna go pee.
Okay.
So this lady was
catch me
really this lady was just fucking nuts. And if you get into the book, it's really crazy. It's really it's gonna put you down. I don't want to say a rabbit hole, but it will bring you down a rabbit hole little.
I will say, did you jump onto Google immediately after finishing the book and try to figure out who was who and where everyone was? Because that's exactly what I did.
I tried to picture the faces. I wanted to see the faces after I read it. I wanted to see the faces. And then I was like, okay, well, let me go into the, but then I went down the rabbit hole of, okay, let me check what's on TikTok to see what they have. There's always a lot of shorts and stuff. And there's a lot. There's a lot of her, what she says when she was, arrested, when they're interviewing her. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. And like I said, read the book first. Please, this is what the book looks like. Read the book first and then go down the other rabbit holes because everything will make sense. So you're going to be like, okay, I get it. Yes. Does the book go down? I did find that this book was a good book, but it was very hard because it went down to where it said something that had happened and then it just took you like a long process to and you're like, okay, let's speed it up. I want to know what's next, It's
very detailed. Yeah.
Very, very, very detailed. That maybe it shouldn't have been that detailed, but let me tell you, this book, it won't disappoint you. So please go check out the book first before you go down that rabbit hole with going into YouTube and stuff. Unless you want to go on YouTube and listen to the audio, there is an audio on YouTube. Go ahead and do that.
Or read a book. It's okay
too
to read
long.
a book.
The audio,
to read a book, guys.
Audio takes so much longer. I'd rather just read the stinking book.
I read it so fast.
Oh, in the car. There's nothing like audio in the car, but I hear you. But
You can
Read a
like,
book.
you know
It's
what?
nice. It's nice to feel a book
Yeah.
every once in a while.
Well, not only that, you also get sometimes the voices that people, do the audio just sometimes don't click with you. I mean, let's be honest. There's voices that just some of them would just want to put you to sleep because they're so mellow, and some of them want to put you like you just want to be like, okay, really get over with. So
enough is enough.
check the book out. It's not like I said, it looks long, it looks big, but it's not. Especially I'm dyslexia, so if I was able to read it and get through it, you
Same.
can get through it. You can get through it.
To be fair, I read this so fast. I was like, holy cow, I can't put this book
I read
down.
it in like a day and a half.
Same.
You read it when we were in Vegas.
I did.
You read it, so
It's a horrible read. Don't get me wrong. It's awful. Everything you read makes you sick.
Oh,
Yeah.
but
it
it's
does.
so fast. Like you're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, and you just keep turning the page. So
yeah.
You're like, I can't believe this happened. Let me see what else happens. Oh shit, that happened? No fucking way. Oh my god, something else fucking happened.
Mhm.
It happened to another
Agree.
person.
I agree. IA voices are the absolute
Horrible.
worst. They're so
Yeah.
tacky. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So
we're
where
gonna
are we at?
fast forward a little
Okay,
bit.
so Kathy's dead. Shane is burned.
Yes.
Let's fast forward a little bit to
Ronald.
Or yeah,
The-
probably
okay.
probably
next victim.
Ronald.
Mhm.
Ronald.
Yeah. Well,
Because-
let's say in between all of this, Sammy does try to run away. Right? Before Ronald. After Kathy. Am I correct? Am I wrong?
I think
I
she
thought that
runs
was-
away
I think
during.
that was further a little
Ronald.
bit further down.
No, I didn't think because I thought Ronald.
Oh, by the way, I
came-
found
thought
popcorn.
okay. So from my understanding, or at least from correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought Ronald was after Sammy was already out because she made her mom promise. Like
Oh,
she,
yes.
because she didn't think that any abuse was happening because when she came, Ronald seemed
So,
fine.
yes. So after Shane
Nikki
disappears,
left.
Nikki leaves, and she actually goes to Laura, her grandmother,
Mhm.
and for a minute. Actually, first
she-
she
She was with Dad for a minute.
Yeah.
And then she went to Laura, and then
Right.
she never they kept trying to get her to come back, and she would not come back.
correct. So Nikki runs away. She lives wherever the construction site where David is, in a tent with him, but
Okay.
not like in a bad
She's
way.
not being
just,
abused. She
no,
was
he was
happy.
just
Yeah.
like, hey, I know you need to get away from your mom, blah, 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 blah.
right.
Sammy's still in high school, but she also tries to run away with her boyfriend.
Well, kinda. This is. I think you're getting a little
not.
ahead.
Okay, maybe
We got to get ahead.
Yeah.
We got to
Yeah.
move it.
Yeah. Okay. So
The girls try to get away.
let's just hop way forward.
Nikki gets away. Sammy's still there, kind of. Ish.
So mind you, this woman's she's still killing people. She's making her kids do
still
horrible
abusing.
things. And one of the horrible things this woman does is she makes her kids cut the hairs off of their hoo-ha.
Their poobs.
Their
That's
boobs.
good.
Hoo-ha.
Everybody should be kind of shaved.
So with their youngest, the youngest Tori, didn't
Mhm.
see
At
much
this
abuse.
point, let's just jump way ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Or Nikki is out. Sammy's
in
out
college, yes.
in college. Tori, the youngest, is still there. And then you have a new adult being abused. That's also there. And mom is like, hey, I need you to cut some pubes off for your baby book.
She makes her get
Oh.
naked, like
Mhm.
she
Makes her
makes
get-
Tori, which is the
to check
youngest.
to check her boobs to make sure she's growing properly.
Right. She makes her get
Mhm.
naked. And
She
she
checks
goes,
her boobs.
she goes, I need to make sure you're developing correctly, blah, 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 blah.
Normal.
Then I need you to cut some of your pubes for
Your sisters did it.
and she goes,
That's
but
what
your
she
sisters
says.
did it.
Yeah.
Of course.
So Tori's
What's
like
weird? Is this weird so far?
Yeah.
It's totally weird.
It's totally weird. Yeah.
So Tori's like, I don't know if I want to do that.
Well,
She's
your
all your
sisters
sister did. So she did it. And then Shelly starts laughing at her, goes, I can't fucking believe you fell for that.
Your sisters didn't do that.
Your sisters didn't do
Mhm.
that. So now she's starting the chain of abuse with Tori, the youngest, who is in 1999,
Yeah.
14.
By this
Right?
time, Nikki is married.
Mhm.
Sammy's in college. They're having that conversation with Tori. Neither one of them believe that Tori's being abused. They thought the abuse stopped with them.
Right.
And then you have Ronald that's there who's also being abused.
Right. So let's go to
adult.
Ronald.
Let's go to Ronald real quick. The new adult.
The new adult. So Ronald Woodworth was a local man who went to live with the Notex in 2001. Like Kathy, Woodworth was also subject to severe physical abuse. I would say probably more.
Worse. Yeah.
Witnesses described seeing Woodworth being forced to do chores outside wearing only his underwear and to jump from. Okay, sorry. Let me back up.
Laughing.
No, because I'm not laughing at it. I'm not laughing.
Yeah, you are, you monster.
I am a
You're
fucking monster.
monster.
It's just like, this is
hilarious.
hilarious.
And I'm laughing at is that that I jumped ahead of what I wanted to say. So what had happened was she had met Ronald. He was a gay veteran and said, let me help you. Come into my house. And Sammy and Tori at this point, because Nikki's gone, we're like, fuck yeah, somebody else who isn't going to, or who's going to take the abuse in front of me. So he was forced to do many things. He was forced to jump off the roof. He did not die from that. He was forced to do many things. He had lacerations, which again, Shelley would make him pour bleach all over. He lived in an outbuilding. It was, if he was the one who they made drink his own urine.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
he got in trouble for shitting outside at one point.
Wouldn't you be scared if you were with someone that looked like that? Like, wouldn't you be? I would be terrified.
She saved him first. Remember, she's always their savior first,
right?
And then gets into this gross.
Why does I feel like Scientology just with one woman?
Well, it is.
She's mastered it, like the manipulation of everyone.
Right. I mean, she was like, "Oh, come in." And, he was cool, Uncle Ron. To the girls, they loved him.
Yeah.
Tori loved him. She was like, "Oh, this man is wonderful." He was great. Also, shit got off of her when he came in. The girls have this story of, when some mom brings in another adult in, where it's not as bad on us. And again, Tori got the least of it, but I mean, she brings this other man in, and it got to the point where he was just so broken down.
He tried to kill himself.
He did
a couple of times
to get away from her.
And was unsuccessful.
Well, notice how you're not choosing like the highest, people with the best self-esteem. You're not choosing people that have their shit together. He's choosing people that need help.
Most abusers do.
They need help and they trust her.
Right. There are a lot of options too. They have like zero options, so she's narrowing down to a certain amount of people.
Especially him more than even Kathy. I feel like Kathy had a better support system. It's amazing that she was able to get her cut everyone off.
Yeah, I agree.
Ronald literally had like one friend.
Yeah.
So it made sense for that. So Ronald, do we remember how Ronald dies?
I believe he just fucking.
I think he just died. Yeah.
So Michelle Notek would burn Woodworth's feet in boiling water and bleach, and then Woodworth went missing in 2003, and then David Notek later admitted to burying Woodworth's body.
No, they put him in a freezer
for a while,
for quite some time, and then they buried him.
Gotcha.
And
that's only because they didn't have enough wood, and it wasn't like there was a drought, so they couldn't burn the body. So there was a drought. They were unable to burn the body like they could for the other two, so they had to find other means.
Meanwhile, Shelley found this older man whom she was taking care of.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
She became like a CNA almost.
Yeah, she was. So she was taking care of this older man who was 81, and she realized that he was leaving his estate to her.
Well, he left it to his dog
Well,
And
hold
then
on.
after his dog
He left his dog to
died-
her and then left, he left his estate to the dog. And once the dog passed, she got his home, everything. So
But
what
this-
she did was, or
This was
this
when
has not
Shane
been
was
proved.
still alive.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh
No, I
no,
don't think
you're
so.
right. No, it was Roger.
It was Ron, because
Or
she
Ron,
had
yeah.
Ron taking care of him.
Okay.
And one night they happened upon that he had fallen and hit his head, and he succumbed to his injuries, and he died. And the dog was left to them. And this was before Ron had passed. So they were like, "Oh, we'll take the dog," but then the dog goes missing. So then she inherits his $140,000 house, his whole estate, she truly had. She actually made Ron make him be unalived. I mean, like he hit his head and whatever. But she picked these people where they don't have the family, you know what I mean, to back them up, or they do,
Right.
but the family is estranged and things. And so when this happened, they can't prove that happened, but the kids corroborate that she was definitely a part of his unaliving as well.
Unaliving.
I know. His murder.
You can't say that. You can't say that too often. Just not too often. You know.
Unaliving.
You know, this
So-
woman's fucking nuts. She's just fucking crazy.
But if she applied her skills to anything else, like sales, like
a
she would kill it.
millionaire.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Jesus fuck.
If instead of manipulating
If she
people in that
applied
way,
it to a pyramid scheme, she'd be fucking
Right?
rich.
She's
she'd
oh
be
my
fucking
god.
yeah. She'd be like,
Yeah.
and you get all the
Fucking
power
love
then. Like then you can get better power. You know.
Yeah.
I don't-
So through all of this, Nikki's away. She
You
had
know what,
spent some
AC?
time
You can
with
recruit
Laura.
her. I'm just thinking, you know what, AC? You can recruit her.
Nikki completely cut herself
Spoiler,
off.
spoiler alert at the end. I'll tell you why I can recruit her.
So Nikki had gone away. She was living with her grandmother for a while. And Nikki really was pressing Sammy to
Come forward.
Because she goes, I've come forward. They had tried to blow the whistle on Shelley for a couple of times.
They didn't do anything with Nikki's statement.
Right. So
she
Nikki said,
stopped
hey,
trying.
this is
Yeah.
what's going on. Sammy, will you help? Sammy was too afraid to say, my mom is doing this and let it go. Because Sammy was in college. Sammy said, hey, if you let me go to college, I will, I'm gonna play by the rules. Pretty much.
Yeah, well, because Sammy essentially threatened her. I was like, you're
Right.
going to pay for me to go to school and you're going to do all of these things.
But you got to be better.
You
can't hurt Ron.
You can't hurt Ron or you can't hurt Tori.
Yes.
Which she agreed
So the
to.
police reached out to Sammy for a statement, and Sammy said, didn't
She
even
wasn't
answer.
calling him back.
No.
Yeah.
So when Ron finally passed, Sammy was like, oh, fuck. And then they were able to get Tori, and they had a conversation with Tori.
It was like an overnight visit.
Right.
Yeah.
So they had a conversation, and Tori was like, hey, did this ever happen to you?
Oh, it was like the sock matching thing. It was like,
Yeah.
hey, did you ever mom ever just wake you up in the middle of the night and make you match all of the socks in the house? And they were like, yeah, she did.
She did.
What else did she make you do? And that's when
And then
Tori
just spilled
open.
all the beans,
Mhm.
especially about the pube hair and all the things. And they were like,
Kind of
oh,
like Mommy
shit.
Dearest.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh shit. They literally thought that Tori wasn't getting abused at all, which in my opinion is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I'm like, she abused literally everyone that lived there.
Right.
And you
Everyone
just
in the whole
assume
place.
she decided to stop with your youngest sister.
No, I mean, but once they found out that it was, they were abusing Tori,
Mhm.
they stepped in. And actually, it was Tori that had the fucking balls to say, this is what is happening. This is what I've seen.
Well, and they asked her though, they said, well, you're going to graduate in 3 years. Can you wait?
Yeah.
They literally asked
her
if she
sisters
could
asked
wait
her
it out.
to wait.
And she was like,
I
no.
can't do this. No.
Yeah.
One of the things we didn't touch on is that was it Sammy or was it Nikki that was saying stuff at school about mom?
No, that was Sammy.
It was Sammy mom's abusing whatever. And then
Well,
she was like, never mind. She said it to her teachers.
She was late or had failed something, and she goes, "Well, my mom had made me sleep on the porch for the last 3 nights," and like just spewed off a bunch of shit. And so the teacher, as the mandatory reporter, went to whomever, and they
did nothing.
And then they called her into the office and basically
and she
said,
was like,
"Here's
never
what you
mind.
said." She goes,
I was faking.
I just made it up. But as a mandatory reporter, you should have immediately said, well, she said she made it up, but here's what happened. But they never reported it. So
No.
So
do you guys feel like if a kid says something and then he says, no, I'm just kidding, do you still
you should at least look
still
into it.
feel-
she didn't immediately say, no, I'm just kidding. It was like 24 hours later when they started questioning her more on it.
Mhm.
Then she said, oh, I just made that up.
Okay.
So
But do you think the school or people should follow up even though
Absolutely.
teachers are mandatory reporters. So even if a kid says, I just made that up, once it comes out of their mouth, they are legally
Required.
obligated to report it and say they made it up. They said they made it up, but here's what they said.
There should have at least been an investigation. No, don't get me wrong.
Even if it was
the 90s.
a stupid report, just saying, "Hey, my kid said this," or this random child.
But even if any kid says that, like, and says, like, no, I'm just kidding, you're still going to send somebody to the house to investigate.
You have to.
Absolutely.
You have to.
You are supposed to. You are. It's part of it. Do a lot of them do it?
Probably not.
No.
I thought we lived in a totalitarian state where the state comes to your house all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, it just depends.
No, they don't.
I honestly think no. It's
they're supposed to.
I honestly think they pick and choose. I honestly think.
So I know someone, that their OT or whatever therapist, basically asked the child, hey, does your mom do this when, she gets mad? And the child said yes. And instead of reporting it, she called the mother and said, oh, your kid said that you hit your children when you get angry. Is that true? Oh, no. They're just making that up. And then they moved about their day.
Right.
Well, not say names on
would you investigate yourself, please?
But I'm like,
I
why wouldn't you immediately say, okay, well, this unprovoked 7-year-old said these things. Why wouldn't you just at least send someone to check it out?
Yeah.
At the very least.
Yeah.
But what are they going to check out? They're going to knock on your door. I'm not going to invite you in because you don't have a warrant. You're not a cop. So what are you checking out?
Well, social services, I don't know if they need one. If it's like a child safety, a
child safety check.
A child safety check. They have if someone says, hey, I have this concern for the child, I think that a judge would say you have a warrant to go here, though. If the social service person said, hey, this person's potentially being abused. I'm not saying it's not automatic, but I'm saying they could probably get one pretty easily.
But I'm going to tell you right now.
But why would you call the parent first?
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you right now. Even if CPS, we call it CPS here. If CPS, if they have, they have allegations that maybe, they're
the allegation is only from the child right now. The allegation is
from the child. They cannot step foot if that father or mother says, hey, they come up and say, hey, we want, we just want to talk to your child. We want to come in and check it out. They do not have any right. They still have to go through the process to actually get a warrant. The only thing is because there's a story that I've been following and AC knows that I've been following for a long time. The Gabriel Fernandez story.
Oh man, she said it.
I know.
I hate that story. I hate it. It's literally my worst fucking nightmare.
Well, even the one we just did with Ferguson.
They have no right.
How fucking awful was that?
They have no right. They actually have no right to come into your house unless without that warrant. Now, in order for you to get that warrant, you got to go through the proper procedures. It could take more than 48 hours. It could take 78 hours. It could take a month. It could take 2 months. At the end of the day, this is what it is.
Which makes sense on like some level. But
you just can't come in my house because my kid said.
On the flip side of that, it's like if a child's life is in danger, fuck you. Like,
Yeah, just fucking.
But it-
That's what sucks is,
Fuck
but
rights.
then
I
but
would
then you
rather
also
you
get
come
those-
in and be wrong than you not come in and be
Right?
right.
You're not going to come in because I'm going to shoot you if you come in my house without a
Well,
warrant.
no,
Yeah.
no. If CPS showed up my house and said, "I've heard that you've been abusing your child," I would immediately say, "Well,
Come
you,
on in.
you come on in
Right.
and
You
look
see this
at
house.
look at this kid's
I'll
bedroom.
be like, why?
Who has
Why do you
everything
want to
that
come into
kid
my
could
house?
possibly? No, I would immediately let them in.
Yeah, I have
This is the
nothing to
part where I'd
hide.
be AC.
If I have nothing to hide, and I'm sorry, my kid is spoiled rotten.
He is.
Okay, he is that kid. That boy has everything he wants. He has everything set to. Oh my god! Well, I don't know. I don't know this password.
But this is where I become AC. This is where I become AC. You can't
And
come into
doesn't
my
know
house.
the password for anything, so I had to use the tablet.
Sorry,
This
Is that
is
your
where I-
son? Is that your son?
that's the
Right.
fiance.
He's cute.
I mean,
He's
that's
cute. Okay.
exactly her son.
He
I thought
didn't
that was
know
your son.
that he didn't know the password to our child's tablet, so
Mm.
I had to put it in for him.
Makes sense.
It
So,
tracks.
Rose, you said you were becoming me?
this is where I become AC and be like, you can't fucking come in my. Show me the warrant. And
If
Because
I
my
have
dumbass kid
nothing-
said I was
get one.
hitting him. My kid
However,
says
if,
anything.
Yeah,
however,
you know
if I
what?
have
Yeah.
nothing to hide,
I mean,
I'd be like, fucking come on in. Welcome
don't
to my
care.
world. Won't you come
I'm
on in?
I
I would
don't
make
have
them
nothing
go
to-
through the long way. I would make them go get a
Yep.
warrant, go do the thing, and
I
then when you legally can come in my house,
Prove me.
To me,
Then
though,
you-
that just seems
That
so
seems
gross.
sus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that to me, that's making it seem
by
worse.
following the law,
No, just saying, like, if they say, "Can we come in?" and if I have nothing to hide, what is
Why
the
would I-
issue with letting them come in and look and
Yeah,
see
why
how
would I tell
spoiled
somebody
rotten
not
my
to?
This is
child
my
is?
privacy, though. This is my privacy. This is my private home. This is, you know what? Why should I let somebody just to come in just because
That's
someone
fair.
says?
and then you're kind of
Just as
setting the
someone
precedent
says-
for them to just come into everybody else's house and be
Why?
like, okay,
So
you know,
they could do whatever they want. They could say, "Oh, we saw this, this, and this." I mean, you don't know what their mindsets are, and especially nowadays. I mean, you just for what?
I
They
guess
can-
if I have nothing to hide, I'm not going to tell you not to come into my home.
Now, if they're demanding to come in versus like, "Hey, do you mind if I come in and take a look around?" But if they're like, "We need to come in here and make," okay, where's your warrant? That's weird. But if they're like, "Hey, we just want to make sure your kid's okay," I'm
He's okay.
honestly probably gonna let them come in. Although Riker's the
Well,
shit, he'd probably say.
but how
some
do you
weird
know that
shit.
they're-
He would not.
But how do you know? But here's
Maybe
the
he
thing:
would.
how do you know that they're not going to say something to coach your son to say something that they
I would
may
never
need?
leave them in a room alone with my
Oh,
child.
but that's what they
no.
want, though. You can't go in there if that's exactly what they want. They'll say we
you want
wouldn't
to talk to
let
your,
No, no,
to your
no.
kid.
No,
son."
they're not asking to talk to
they're
my
just
son
saying, "Can we
alone.
come in and
They
make sure
do.
you're? Can
And
we
the
come
only
in
reason-
and make sure your
Hold on,
house
one at a
isn't a
time.
death trap?"
Sorry.
No. I can only tell you from experience because of what I've gone through with my ex-husband. I can only tell you from experience. They do want to speak to your child alone. They do want to come into your house alone without you. They will tell you, please step outside. Let
wanna
us come
corroborate
to
a
your house
story.
alone. And guess what? Why? For you to fucking say something to my kid, change things, twist things to my 5-year-old? Go fuck yourself. No.
They're not allowed to be in there alone when they're minors without no. Like you can tell them no to that. But I'm saying if they just want to come in and make sure your kid doesn't have a cage on his bed, let them come in and make sure your kid doesn't have a cage on their bed. But no, I would
Right,
never
I
let
mean-
them. If they were like, "Hey, can we talk to your kid alone?" No, you cannot. But if you want to
Okay,
come
there's
in,
the
make,
line. So the
if
line
you
is
want,
you can come in, but you can't talk to them alone.
if you want to come, make sure I don't have a lock on my refrigerator door. Yeah, go ahead. Like that kid eats more snacks in a single hour.
But even if I
than-
did, even
But
if I
they
did,
do
that's
ask.
not your house and that's not illegal. You know what I'm
But
saying?
they
Like,
do
even if I
ask.
did.
There's a lock
They-
on the
they do.
refrigerator?
They do
I'm
ask.
on
They will
Weight
sit there.
Watchers. I can't.
They
You know what I'm
do
saying?
This
ask.
is for me, not for
Yeah.
him. He can
But
have whatever he
here's the
wants.
thing. At that moment where you're like, "Oh, sure, go ahead." They do ask, "We'd like to speak to your child alone without you present because we feel that maybe your presence will make they might feel scared." So they'll
And-
ask you to stay out of the room. They'll come in, and once they're in there your house, they'll ask you, "You know what? We want to speak to your child alone. Can
They
you
can't
please leave?"
make you do that.
But they're
Yeah,
already
you
in your
can
house.
say, "Come on into my home," but you're not going to talk to my kid.
You can
alone.
talk to him with me.
I have rights.
Mhm.
But here's the thing: you already let them in your home.
Yeah, but
Right, but that doesn't
That
open
doesn't
it
give them
up
the right to
give
talk
them-
to your
yeah, You
child.
can still tell
But
them
now
no.
you're being hostile.
Or protective.
I'm just saying from personal experience. Now you're being hostile, and now that's being documented.
Is
You
that
know
what they told you,
Mother
Rose?
was
You're being hostile? So
You know, oh hell's no! You know what? I didn't let them in. Fuck that. No, get my attorney, and we'll go
Yeah.
ahead. I'm one
There
of
we
those
go.
people. You know what? Get my attorney, and we'll go ahead and deal this through the courts.
There we
Let
go.
me,
You're being
you know,
aggressive.
And what court? My kid just said something. My kid said one thing,
Yeah.
and now you're here with the courts. What the fuck?
and that wasn't even my.
Yeah.
But that wasn't even my kid. That was like what my ex-husband was alleging. He's never even been to the house. You know what I mean. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you know,
You're like
this
opening
is
up a
this
can
shit.
of worms.
Yeah,
Right.
you're
The slippery
opening
slope after that.
something. Mhm,
That's
Slippery
fair.
slope.
That's fair.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I get
Let's
it.
go by the law
You know.
and say what the law says, and then we'll take it to the next step. But if you're here because my kid said something and then said it was a joke, how far do we take this? Like every single thing the kid says, you're gonna, Superman ate the moon, and then you'll be like, we gotta check. Like what?
I
what
know,
are we?
but she didn't say it and take it back. She said it, she left, and then she didn't take it back until after
They said we're going to do something
authorities
about
got
it.
involved, or
Yeah.
not even authorities. The principal got involved.
The
It wasn't
principal was like,
even,
"Oh,
you
we're
know,
gonna have somebody check this out." And she's like, "Yeah, never mind. I'm
yeah,
joking.
it was just kidding.
It's a joke."
Check
me,
this
that's
out.
like-
So
To me, that's an immediately
You
Red-
should at
red
least check
flag.
into it.
they almost took my nephew from my family because of overzealous school counselors. He has autism and couldn't understand the leading questions. That's if you feed him certain things that you want the kid to say, like Rose
That
said, it
also
depends.
sounds like a
That's also a
shitty
different
school.
situation. Knowing the kid's autistic.
Mhm.
1 in 5 kids
knowing-
are autistic. Well, 1 in 34 kids are autistic these days.
Regardless, if this is back in the 90s.
Oh, that's horrible.
He was coming to school with a big circle
He
under
was-
his eyes. And
Lethargy.
That is
of
leading. That is
He was
leading
medication.
questions, though.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
he was coming into school with big circles under his eyes and lethargy, which is very like calm and very like sleepy.
Basically sleepy.
Zombie
Yeah,
like,
his
yes.
right from his medicines, and they took him into a room and started asking him if there was anybody hitting him.
That's
Mhm.
okay,
That's
see,
a different
that's-
situation
You're-
of
well, you're-
jumping to conclusions as opposed to a child going, "Hey, this is happening to me. My mom made me sleep out on the porch for 3 days," and then them going, "Oh, maybe we should look into this," and then that kid going, "Never mind."
Well, versus like leading a question like, "Hey, you look tired. Is your
Yeah.
mom beating you?"
But how do you
Right.
know that? I mean, these are children.
And I think that's why
Okay.
it's necessary to just
So,
you report what you hear, and then
if a child
they
says
kept
I'm being
asking, she
if
said.
a child
Yeah.
says I'm being SA'd, do we believe them or do we say
You have
you're
to.
I guess that's what I'm saying. There's the difference of a child self-reporting saying this is what's happening, but then backtracking saying never mind, it didn't, because they're afraid of what the repercussions of what will happen in home
Versus
because
being led into a question.
versus this situation where they've been led to, oh, you have bags under your big circles under your eyes and you're
Mhm.
lethargic. They are leading that child into questions that
See,
try to
exactly.
implicate
They kept repeating whatever
Yeah.
they wanted to hear. Yeah.
that implicate the parents. If the
Yep.
child initiates that conversation of, hey, this is what's happening to me, and then retorts or recants their statement going, never mind, I was joking.
And not during the same conversation. It was later.
I
Right.
think
Right.
Later
I honestly
on,
think if you strongly feel that there's something going on, follow the laws. Go ahead and get your restraint. Your
Mhm.
if you strongly feel that way, don't just let it go and brush off. Okay, they told me not to. No, you strongly feel that way. You push forward
Yes,
and you
girl.
keep pushing
Yes.
forward until it is done. You know what I mean? And like I said, with that one case that I it's dear to my heart, and it's a case that I followed for a long time, and AC knows about it because I always tell AC about it.
we talk about it like
All
we
the
want
time.
to do this story.
Yeah,
We have to do this story so we can stop talking about it.
you know, it's something that if you strongly feel that this child is, if you see him coming in with bruises, burnt marks, whatever,
It's different.
yes, that you should follow
That's
that.
different. That's
up on
physical evidence. It's physical
Yes.
evidence of like,
See
oh
it,
man, somebody
yeah.
did this to you.
But dark
You know.
circles are not. I mean, to
Yeah.
Let's
go
jump into
into
conclusions.
an axis.
Maybe they had a bad night's sleep.
Yeah.
Girl,
Right.
fuck
Maybe
off.
they played video games all night.
I will say, but like you said, what kind, you don't just let them into your home necessarily in this situation, but at least do the courtesy of that child and report it. Now, whether or not that parent, they could not have forced Shelley to let
Right.
her
I mean,
into
Shelley
their
could have said
home,
nobody comes
you know,
in.
like it that could have been a dead end, but that's fine. But as a mandatory reporter, her teachers, her principal, they should have at least done the extra step and said, here's what this child is saying.
She
So at least
recanted, but we need to look into this
give
further.
her a chance because they're children, you know. I mean, I'm not saying that Shelley would have said, "Oh yeah, come on in,"
Well,
and that's her right. But
anytime-
at least then there's something on record, like official record, that this was reported by these people, and so I feel like it would
anytime,
lead
like,
up to probably a better conviction
when
than what she got.
Shelley's stepmom Laura would come over, if she announced it, Shelley would have the house and the kids pretending that they were great, right? And
Yeah.
Oh, her
when
fake
Laura would come
camper.
over unannounced, Shelley would pretend that they weren't home and would not let her in. I mean, that's the crux of it all. Shelley was so fucking diabolical.
Oh.
If she
Mhm.
knew
yeah.
you were coming at her, she would make everything look
So
fucking perfect.
We know
Yeah.
our thoughts like thoroughly because we've discussed,
Yes.
but I'm actually really interested in what Rose's thoughts are on this because you were
Look
not
at
in book
you.
club. So I'm
I
I'm
should.
very like
Can you guys
I
tell me
know.
what book club is?
You
I'd
know
be
how
more
I
than happy.
feel.
You know what? FaceTime me.
You want to tune in to our true crime book club because it's
Yes.
basically all turned into true crime.
True.
You know
We're
what?
all little psychos.
Yeah.
I honestly think this bitch is fucking crazy. I honestly
Okay,
think and I think she's fucking crazy. And you know what?
Okay.
Let's
And she's
fast
crazy.
forward. Let's fast forward to now. How she got caught, and now she's in jail.
Mhm.
Okay.
So she got caught.
By her own daughters.
The daughters turned her in, thank God.
About time.
And it took Tori, the youngest, saying, "This is what happened. This is what I have witnessed."
Because it was actively happening to her at that time.
And absolutely it was. And she was the strong one. I understand Nikki. She got away and she was like, fuck that.
I'm
I'm
out.
over it. I've been abused so
Mhm.
much. I'm out. Sammy was a bit indifferent because she was like, I'm not getting the worst of it. But
Sammy's-
then once they found out it was happening to Tori, they were like, at first they were like, can you wait? And then she was like, no, I fucking can't.
You're almost done.
But she
Yeah.
was like, I can't see this happen again.
Mhm.
So they finally got them in and they were arrested. So Shelley,
Thank God they
thank
were
God.
fucking arrested, right?
Yeah,
Can you
I know.
imagine how many
Yes,
other people they would have fucking murdered and killed and
It's honestly amazing to me. It
key
was only
shares they had to
two-
give out?
Yeah.
I mean,
yes. So what did Nikki said real quick? So Nikki said real quick, the reason this is what Sammy said. Sammy said the reason why my mom was able to control Dave was because while I love him, he just was a very weak man. He has no backbone, and he could have got happily married and been an amazing husband to somebody, but he was
Mhm.
because he really would have been, but instead he just got his life ruined.
So even the kids knew.
Even
that
the
he
kids
was a,
knew that he was a
pussy.
fucking pussy.
he was a pussy.
um
God
so
damn it.
they've got so now they've got caught.
They've
They're in
arrested.
jail
yeah.
now. They've arrested
Mhm.
both of them.
right.
And this is the part where I'm out. I mean, they're still a little bit forward. I'm just infuriated on what the
oh
outcome
yeah,
is on all
me
this.
too.
I
Right.
am so PO'd on it, and to find out, like,
With the sentencing.
Well, it's because there was no legitimate
I wanna
physical
know
proof.
So what
from
had
the audience
happened?
right now, from the audience right now,
Yeah.
how long do you guys think she got?
Oh, let's do that first.
Yeah, I want to know how long do you guys think she got? I want to know how long you think, the
David.
sentencing, or do you think she got tried? Do you think she got AC? What do you think she got? What do you think? She got life for murder? Do you think she?
I mean, I already know the answer, so you should probably take it to the.
So, having not known the story prior
Yeah.
to not knowing the outcome, what would you have thought that somebody who had inflicted so much abuse and damage on somebody would have gotten for
on
this
several
crime?
on several people.
Yes.
On several people, I would say
Yeah.
35 to life.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not an old story. This was what?
Well, I mean,
2003.
she was
Uh,
convicted in 2004. Yes.
2004, right?
20 years
So
ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
So how long do you think she got?
I would say 35 to life, just because it's multiple people and because it's children involved, and because there's. But then again, was it abuse on children? We don't really know. You know, like is putting them in the mud enough for you to go to jail?
Okay, I mean, it was a shit ton more than that, but
Sure.
Yeah.
But is there
Yeah.
is there the proper? Do we have the proper evidence for all the shit and stuff? You know.
right.
So could you even prosecute? I would say 35 to life.
So during the sentencing, the prosecutor stated that Shelley showed an extreme indifference to human life. She was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of Kathy Loreno and Ronald Woodworth. David Notek was also charged with first-degree murder in the death of Shane Watson, because remember, he shot Shane after he had...
Which he admitted to.
He did admit to it. He was also charged with rendering criminal assistance and unlawful disposal of human remains, because he got rid of both Kathy and Ronald, and even Shane.
I don't remember. Did he ever officially admit to all 3?
Yes.
He did?
Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
Remember. I couldn't remember.
did.
So through plea negotiations, both Notex pled guilty to lesser charges in 2004. Now, Shelley entered into an Alford plea. Do you know what an Alford plea is?
You know what?
Alford-
Explain to us what an author plea is.
Let me pull this up. An Alford plea, or as called in, also called a Kennedy plea in West Virginia. The Alford plea is a guilty plea in a criminal court, whereby the defendant in a criminal case does not admit a criminal act and asserts innocence, but accepts imposition of a sentence.
Oh.
This plea is allowed even if the evidence to be presented. Sorry, words are hard. To be presented by the prosecution would be likely to persuade a judge or jury that to find the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. This can be caused by circumstantial evidence and testimony favoring the prosecution, and difficulty finding evidence and witnesses that would aid the defense. So, Alford pleas are legally permissible in nearly all U.S. federal and state courts, except in states of Indiana, Michigan, and New Jersey, and the courts of the United States Armed Forces. So, what really had happened with this
there was
is that there was
evidence.
not enough evidence
That's what I'm
to
saying.
pinpoint Shelley, but they talked her into this Alford plea, and she thought, "Oh, I'm asserting my innocence. I'm probably not going to get the."
I'm going to be guilty without being guilty.
Right.
But that's what a plea deal is. A plea deal is like, you know what? I'll say I'm guilty. It looks like I don't want to take this to trial. If I take this to trial, I might do 100 years. So let's do this right now. I'll serve my whatever time.
Yeah.
And then I'm not saying I'm guilty, but that's what a plea deal is. So an Alford deal allows you to not admit guilt. I mean, that's what a plea deal is.
Yeah, that's
guilt.
exactly it.
You're admitting. Okay, so why doesn't everybody take an Alford deal?
Well,
Yeah.
it's not always
The reason it was offered to her is the prosecutors
so much circumstantial.
did not have enough evidence pointing her to it, even though it was clear.
Circumstantially, it was
right,
but
but
not
not
physical evidence to pin her to anything.
Because she doled out these punishments and the deaths.
She never
right?
physically did.
She
anything.
never physically. She didn't lift a fucking finger. She was sitting eating bonbons on her fucking couch watching fucking soap operas.
That's a real
saying,
mastermind.
you do this, you do this, you do this.
That's a real mastermind.
It's exactly it.
What's amazing? She didn't have a cult.
That's what I'm saying. If she would have had a fucking
She was like
army of
"I'd
salesmen
be
making
the
her $1 billion,
next-"
She had
Yeah,
her own little mini cult
she did
Yeah.
within
but
her
it was-
family. So she
God.
only got 22 years. She only did 18 of them.
So she's out right now, guys.
She
she's
got out
free,
20
guys.
She's free
2022,
for
and
your-
she's literally 2 hours away from Raymond, Washington.
if you guys need a new roommate, Shelly's
I'm
looking.
surprised we haven't heard anything else from her.
Well, she's 70. She doesn't have the energy for that now.
Yeah, she fucking does. She's got the ire of being in jail for fucking 18
She
years.
sent her kids out,
David only got
yeah.
16 years, I think, or
he got less than she did because
did.
he was more. I think they
Of an
looked at him
accomplice
as more
than-
of a victim.
Here we go, guys.
Honestly,
It's right here. David Notek pleaded guilty in the death of his wife's teenage nephew, Shane Watson, in a plea deal
Oh,
that
that's so
agreement
sad.
and reduced the charge to first-degree murder. Notek told Pacific County Superior Court Friday that he shot and killed Watson, buried the body of a 57-year-old boarder, Ron
Yeah.
Woodworth, we talked about, and Woodworth died. Investigators uncovered a body in the backyard of the couple's quaint Raymond farmhouse, and shortly after that, 2 were arrested.
yeah.
hmm
But yeah,
It's-
that's
they only had to bury the body because they were in a drought, so they
burn-
weren't allowed.
Yeah,
to
they couldn't burn him.
which it says here.
And-
In addition to the murder plea, the modified plea to a charge rendering the criminal assistance, maintaining his innocence, that on the count of murder, but he conceding that he would have been convicted on the trial. So that's what I was saying. Like he would have been convicted at the trial. So you know what? Let's take the plea deal and make sure it's not any more than what they're offering.
Right.
You know, it's kind of hedging your bets. So no sentencing date has been set, but both prosecution.
No, I mean-
this is older, but like yeah,
About
short
15 years.
15 years.
Yeah, that's
So,
then-
guilty.
It would have been 20.
Yeah, Shelley served approximately 18 years and got out in November 2022.
Yeah, okay.
And David was sentenced to 15 years and served approximately 13 years and got out in 2016.
And he still has a relationship with the middle
Sammy and Tori.
Yeah,
Nikki says, fuck that. I don't
absolutely not.
forgive him.
Honestly, I'm there with her.
I agree.
Like, I'm not gonna
However,
forgive you because you're
Sammy
a fucking
and
pussy.
Tori. So he is Tori's biological father. So I understand why she's probably like, yeah, he's my
Well,
dad.
And he was never around during her abuse.
No, he wasn't. He was
Versus the other two where he helped inflict that abuse to some
Right.
point.
but Sammy
Tori, he
was the
never
one that
there.
was
Yeah.
the least abused out of all of them, I believe. I mean, Tori was too, but I mean, she was like,
Tori only got it from
Sammy was
Mom.
complicit.
Yeah, Sammy just kind of was like, I'm gonna go with the
She
flow.
goes, Nikki's getting it, Kathy's getting it, Ronald's getting it. I'm not getting
I'm gonna
it.
hang out here.
I'm
in the
gonna hang out
middle."
here because
Yeah.
mom's giving me a little bit more than that she is the other
Mhm.
girls.
I think what-
It just was insane.
I think what pisses me off the most is that she's fucking out scot-free.
I hate that. Do
That
not,
pisses
like,
me off.
She didn't like she
Well-
she murdered. I'm sorry. She didn't murder.
She didn't do it.
murdered. She killed 3 people and she's just out after 18 years. That's so gross.
Sounds like
Again,
Gypsy Rose.
One of the
Oh,
things
yeah.
Did I say that out loud?
said-
Did I say that out
Had
loud?
she
Yes,
have
no, I'm with you.
had she have committed embezzlement from she would have done longer. That's
How
the
is
thing.
that?
That you
She would have hurt. She would have hurt a dog or something. She would have maybe
And
done.
she would have gotten longer. So how is it that you orchestrate murders of 3 people and you're what is that?
That is our husbands out there listening
Is
to the show. Yes.
Guys, go check out this book. Go check it out. Leave us a comment. Leave us a message.
Oh,
Please like,
yes.
follow, and share.
This
We
fucking
greatly
story
appreciate it.
is insane.
Yeah.
I'm not a book promoter in most cases, but this is one we
fucking
both have lent it to
our mothers. I literally earlier today I was like, hey, do you have the book? Because I want to reference it and I'd like to read some things from it. She's like, I'm like, because I gave mine to my mom and she lent it out to somebody else. And she was like, no, I lent mine out to my mom too. I was like, fuck.
And
He
if there's
lends
one of
his-
you guys out there that really wants this book, I'd be more than happy to send it to you.
Absolutely.
Send
When
me
we
a
get ours
message.
back, we'll mail them.
When Mama's done with mine, you can have mine.
Yeah,
too.
when mama's done with mine too.
Mhm.
Hold on. What we do is we give away. You don't give it away. We do a giveaway.
We can
There's
do a
certain-
giveaway. We can
yeah,
do
that way they work for it. We got to get to
Yeah.
500. We got to, there's certain stipulations, and we'll send you a book.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
We got
Please
3
like,
books
we got
follow.
3.
available.
I'll give mine. So we
Yeah.
got
Like-
3 here.
Like, follow, and share, and the people
Yes.
who follow that you've shared our live to, have them tag you into it so we know who it is, so we can go ahead and
Send you the book.
take note of
There
it,
you go.
and then we'll
Absolutely.
go ahead and message you privately that, hey, you know what, you are the winner. We'll go ahead and send you the book, and let us know. We're so close to 500, guys, super
No.
close. So please help us get there. Like I said, please like, follow, and share. It would help us out tremendously. And we're almost there. We're so close. We're almost
We're
there.
so close. So close.
So
Nice.
close that we can smell it. We can hold it. We're almost there.
Hold on, where are
I
we?
sent it to a few people tonight,
Good.
Um,
Good.
and I work.
You might win your own book.
I work for
I know,
staff.
right?
I work for a staffing agency, so I'm really hoping that they just send it to everyone that they know and we're good. So
Heck yeah. Where are we at? We are at 458 subscribers. We need 42
Holy cow!
new subscribers here on Roses Are Red podcast to hit the big 500, and we're gonna fucking have a
I've decided it's my personal mission now.
Yes.
By the end of the
Yeah.
weekend, I'm just gonna hunt people down. And be
Yeah.
like, subscribe.
just fucking.
We should
I
send-
got things for you to
It's
boost
been
their
fun.
phones
No,
with.
it's been super fun.
We should
So
send you. I don't know if Sam has them, but there's these little like air tags that
I've got them.
that Rose
Yeah.
made.
Oh yeah,
You ever
no,
give
she's
you one
just
and
randomly tapping people's phones with.
fuck yeah.
I know.
Have
Here.
that one.
Yeah.
Have that
I'm
ass.
here for it. No,
Yeah.
I'm here for it. Yeah.
Tap that
I got
ass.
one.
All right, good. We're good.
You know what?
I'm just
You
gonna
should
be
go-
bumping people.
Boop, boop, boop,
You know what? You should tell them, can I tap the ass of your phone?
Let me tap your phone's ass.
Let me tap your phone's ass.
It's a kink that I have. It's weird, but it's quick.
Sky-
It'll be so quick.
Ear clap.
Sky, thank you. I was going to call you Skyla. Sky, thank you for coming. Thank you for, I'd love for you to come back on another show with us, especially,
she
you know
will.
what?
I'm
I
in.
would love to
To
do
do the
Gabriel Fernandez,
Fernandez
show
story.
with
You
you.
do that with us?
I'm super aggressive about that story, so I'm in. Like I
You guys should do it
so
together.
and-
You know
and
what?
you know what?
Sam and I'll take the week
Yeah.
off, and you guys do it together.
We,
No, I need to be here with my bestie.
Okay.
Oh, God.
I don't live far
So
away from where that
painful.
story happened. I don't live far away from
No,
where that story
I
happened. And
hate
it's a
that story. I hate it.
It's a story that I've been following for a long time. It
Mhm.
touches my heart because of what had happened, how it happened, and I feel that our system did let that poor little boy die.
absolutely let them down.
know.
I'm so in for that story.
If you think that that's bad, I got a couple to share with you.
This
It's gonna
one,
ruin your
I
life.
don't know if you understand the amount of true crime that I watch in a single
Yeah.
week. It's disgusting. I'm
but this
basically a
this one I
psycho.
think takes this story. I think takes the
it takes the cake.
It's fucked up,
so
though.
bad.
It's
It's
fucked
so
up, but
fucked up.
I have a lot of motivation now to show you more fucked up shit than that.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Just send
Okay.
it my way. I'll
Gotcha.
read up all in it. No,
No. I want to. I want to be here for it.
I'll be here anytime because I'm a true crime.
Junkie.
She is.
God, it's gross. I'm basically a psychopath. It's fine.
I'll give you a reporter on the street. We'll get in touch with you.
And then we're gonna
Yes.
have cheeseburgers.
And then we're gonna eat.
and drink a lot of
Oh,
shots of
sounds good.
tequila.
He sounds awesome.
Next time, tequila.
Yeah, we better
Yes.
have tequila, not whatever fuck captain
Well-
shit she was giving me over here.
So
We're bringing
Sam, I
some-
know you have a story, or not a story. I know you have a show coming up soon. On Wednesday nights. Let us know what that's all about.
We do have How Was Your Day every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern, and 9 p.m. Sorry, I said that backwards. 6 p.m. Pacific, and 9 p.m. Eastern. Dyslexia even happens in the brain. Any rate, it is a great fucking show with my husband. I am Dave. I'm hoping that you two will be on this Wednesday if you can. No pressure. But
No
if you
pressure,
can,
no,
that
no.
would be lovely. We just did a replay of Rose when you were on almost a year ago. It was a week and a half before I did Market to Market. It was a
And I was
great show.
fucking nervous. Let me tell you,
You
I-
killed it. You killed it on our show. It was really fun. Dave did a top 10 on that show of songs that had names in the title, like,
And I knew nothing about, because as I know AC knows, I know nothing about music from the US. I know nothing about football I don't know nothing from the US.
It's
I'm
fine.
learning.
I don't know nothing.
I don't know anything new.
No, it was
it's the
all old songs,
shit
like
that I could
Jack and
remember.
Diane,
Okay.
or he
Little
didn't do
Ditty.
Sweet Caroline because it was Sweet Caroline, and he wanted just one word, like Joanna or Rosanna or Roxanne or something like that.
So there wasn't any Sweet Caroline.
No,
I hate. Please don't even say that. Please don't say that.
I know this bitch, fucking every time she is in a place that is playing Sweet Caroline, sends me it. And I don't say moist.
I would never do that.
She does
Moist
it all
as
the fucking time.
fuck.
Moist.
Every time you send a fucking Sweet Caroline, just pretend I'm saying moist.
Stop saying it. I didn't say
I
Sweet
hate that word.
Caroline. It's the
I
worst
hate
word.
that word.
Thank you,
Yes.
I'm gonna
Rose.
send you. I'm gonna
yeah.
send you voice notes of me saying moist.
I'm
No, that is
literally-
the most cringiest word ever. It's such a cringe
And
word.
That
It's
was
just
the
a
day
descriptive word.
that
I love it.
Skylar
I love
became a serial killer.
I'm going
I
to.
just hunted down AC and murdered him for saying that.
That's my I go up to a girl like when I was dating back in the day, right? And I go up to a girl and be like, do I make you moist?
No, that's so cringe.
Oh,
Do I
it
make
worked.
you Randy?
Do I make you Randy moisty?
No, maybe it's a slightly damp.
Slightly damp.
Dude, but yeah,
you make
a
me
dampening.
slightly damp.
Dampening.
I'm feeling damp down under.
Down under.
Yeah. But damp also brings on a connotation of like smelling bad. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I
Like
would take
dank.
that over the other monkey.
Moist? What if it was a clean moist?
No,
No,
oh my
no,
God. Stop
no.
saying
Okay.
it, Rose. You hold him down and I'll punch him.
And moisten me. And moisten
God.
It'll
me.
be fine.
No. It's the same thing. Like there's certain words I don't say. Like I say peach
I
instead
have
of the
been
other word.
moistened. Yeah, but that's you
Shut
don't want to say a
up.
bad word. You don't want to say a bad word.
Sam, I'm gonna kill him.
Moist.
We
Now
have
we're on
a
the show.
comment here.
Now you've been on the show.
Titty twister.
No.
Now you've been on the show.
Also.
You can't leave until you hate me.
Yeah. So we have.
No,
have
actually,
here,
I actually very much enjoy you. So
Aw, look
Aw.
at that.
we've got a comment here that says, so far this is the only TC comment. Words are fucking hard.
True crime
TC
podcast.
Yeah, I've listened to the other ones. I've tried too hard to be
melodramatic.
Melodramatic and
Melodramatic and spoopy. Yeah, thank you, man. I really appreciate
we
it.
are
Wait, what
No,
is
I'm not saying that
spoopy?
word.
what's spoopy?
What's spoopy mean?
Moist.
No, no, no.
So I was reading. I have to read the comments of the
No,
people.
well, you did not have to read that. You
I
could have.
did.
You could have just said monkey.
No.
That's what I call. That's actually what I call.
If you say monkey and you know it means moist,
Well, that still sounds gross.
But that's what I call. That's what I call a vagina sometimes.
is a
Let me see
monkey.
that. Let me see that monkey. Yeah, let me
The
see that monkey.
vajayjay, not
Monkey.
Disgusting.
the vajayjay. The
Let me see your
vajayjay.
moist monkey.
The
Vagina.
vajayjay.
I'm gonna go home.
Vagina.
Oh Jesus
I'm
fuck!
leaving. Mm.
Come up with
Show me
our
that.
own
Show me that moist monkey, baby. Mm. It
Ew.
works every time.
Oh my god.
That's how she gets it.
no.
My wife saying
No.
moist.
You
My
know what,
wife-
Allie? Next month when I'm out in Vegas, please don't
What
say
the
that
fuck
word.
did I
Please
walk
don't say
into?
that.
That's our daughter. That's the same age as Sabrina. Yes.
I'm so sorry.
That is my daughter there.
Sorry, Selena.
I'm so
Selena.
sorry.
Sorry, Selena.
Hi, I'm,
And don't you
I'm
ever-
Sky.
Hey, Selena, what's going on? Do you like moist?
We're talking about monkeys.
No,
not
Moist or damp?
that.
Moist.
Moist
No,
or
no,
and
Oh
dampened?
my god.
That's a good way to say it. You had dampened me.
It dampened.
And dampened me.
Moisty.
Damp it. It's a damp. It's a damp.
Why is that okay and
I don't.
not
It
moist?
just sounds less gross.
No, it doesn't. Damp
Damp
sounds
makes me.
I would really.
You know-
lumpy.
Have you ever left? Have you ever left something in the washer and for a couple days, and you open
Yes.
the door and you're like, "That's damp to me."
Slightly damp.
Yeah.
I've also
Yeah.
that also makes sense when
It's a
someone says you're
trap.
like, "It's a trap." It's in damp. Damp sounds dirty. Exactly, babe.
No,
exactly.
the other word sounds dirty. No.
Oh Jesus!
No.
I'm
Infection.
gonna say it again. If you don't end this fucking live,
Indampened.
Indampened.
I like that word. I'm going to use that from now on. Indampened.
Good sir, you have dampened me. Please
Nice
enter.
sound.
Please enter.
Medical brain kicking in.
Medical
Please.
brain.
You
Oh,
have
okay.
all the invitation of the world to enter me.
No,
as I
I'm gonna
dampen.
use indampened, and I'm gonna say it like super fancy indampened.
And dump
It's
it.
very undampened today. That's the one I'm here for.
Hey, baby, you in the mood? You haven't dampened me, sir. Please enter.
I feel
I haven't
indampened
dampened.
today. I'm
All
ready
right.
here and indampened.
I'm gonna go and dampen my wife.
Well, we
Wizened.
know it.
That's another great word. Another great word is wizened.
Wizened.
Great word. Wizened.
Oh, she says
Oh.
she's her
Panties?
panties.
What is
She hates the word
wizened?
panties.
What does
Can't
that
call them
mean?
panties.
Oh, the panties.
Why?
That's
I
gross.
like
No,
panties.
panties.
Wait,
Panties is
panties.
I don't know.
gross.
Panties
too.
is not gross.
We call them under roosters at
Under
our
roos-
house. Under
Under
roosters.
Underoos.
pantaloons.
Under roosters.
Pantaloons.
Underoosters.
Pantaloons, breeches.
Breeches.
Lower your
Pan-
breeches so I can dampen your moistened hood.
Ew.
I'm leaving. I have to
Oh
go.
my god.
Boom. Mic drop.
Barf.
I'm agreeing with the barf. That's gross.
Mm.
Allison, I love you.
Tasty's
you.
live.
Is it? Oh,
Yes.
good. We're
They're
gonna get
both
along.
tasty.
We're gonna get along great.
Yes.
Allison.
No, she's good.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight. Like I said, you got any stories, any messages, please send us an email. I put it on there, Roses Are Red podcast 007 at gmail.com.
It is
Um,
007. Sorry,
007.
Allie. It's on here.
We'll just call you CA. We're just gonna reverse
I
it.
don't know. I came to sex ed class.
Yes. Except there's no Ed. It's just
But
mad.
I know you have
It's
two
just
kids. What are you talking about, sex ed? You have 2 kids.
Yeah. Keep your sex ed down a little bit,
We
okay?
didn't have the sex ed.
Seems like you're having some sex ed over there, Selena.
Well,
Right? So,
Sorry, we're dumb.
we're done. We spend too much time together. I apologize.
Do we?
yes.
Not enough.
Thank
And
you,
Debbie.
everybody,
No.
thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. And we will see you on Monday night. Oh, wait, I see another comment coming in. Hold on, I want to make sure I get that.
We don't know.
Hey.
Got astray.
They just
be
showed
fucking
up.
around.
That's what happened with Reich.
Oh,
Yeah, he just showed up.
Showed up.
My
gosh, that
fault.
does
He's my
spawned. They're spawned. Okay. Tune in Monday night. We have a show Monday night at 7:00 same time and Pacific Standard Time, and we have a highlight show where we kind of go over the stories that
Headlight
we've
show.
gone. If they're headlights, yes.
Now you say
Highlights of
highlights?
I don't see. I'm telling you, it's the dyslexia of my fucking.
Oh,
I
it's
was
literally
like,
contrarian. It's no
or
longer dyslexia. It's
highlights?
contrarianism. It's just being opposite at this point.
It's the dyslexia of my fucking head. Where we go over shows or anything that there's trials or anything that stories we've done. There's anything done. Please join us Monday night, and we will see you on Monday.
Allie said, like
Wait.
boobies? Yes, like boobies. Headlights.
Like boobies.
I was
I'm
literally
not
thinking boobies while I was looking at Rose's boobies.
Show me your wizened boobies.
I mean, they are pretty
They're,
nice.
you have a very nice shirt for your boobies.
Very, very nice.
That's why we have 400 of the 457 followers.
Yes.
Yeah. The first 456 were here for your boobs.
The boobies. But then you
The
showed up and I was
boobies.
like, yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Okay, I got I got the one.
All right.
Congratulations.
It's Friday night. Get those boobies moist. I'll talk to you later.
Love you guys. Bye.